Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of the dictionary. As you probably saw in the title, we have another guest. So I am very excited. I love these. That it adds a whole other dimension and energy to this episode to these episodes. So my guest. Oh crap! I forgot to grab a thing. My guest is Emily Winter. I have talked about her book One Day Smarter a couple of times. And do you happen to have it close to you?
I do. Hello, everybody. 1 second. Let me just grab it.
I totally forgot to prepare for this part. We'll cut this out.
Okay. Yes, I do. I do have my book. It is right here. I mean,
Awesome.
Yeah. This is a podcast, so I am waving it around.
And of course, I will post a picture of your book, and you probably. Can you just quickly first tell the people who you are, what you do, and all that good stuff?
Yeah. Hello. I am Emily Winter. I am a comedian and writer, and I wrote over the pandemic an uplifting, funny book of trivia called One Day Smarter, and it just came out, and it makes a really good holiday gift for pretty much anyone. And I write for a Nickelodeon show called That Girl Lele, and I have a trivia background as well. But I am also dumb. It's amazing. You can do that. I didn't know you could be dumb and have a trivia background. So
I could be a trivia host?
You are too smart.
No,
you could be a smart trivia host. But yeah, it's not only, yeah.
That's why I'm reading this book, because I'm not smart. I'm trying to be one day smarter. One day smarter every day by listening to this podcast and reading Emily's book. So obviously you should go check out Emily's stand-up comedian things and her book and the show that she writes on, and I'm sure there's going to be many other shows that she writes on as well. Could you please flip to a random page in the book and just read one short trivia line?
I would love to. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. That's my dog coming in. Okay.
Wait, can your dog open a door?
Yeah. Bingo, close the door. Close the door. Close it. Close the door. You're on a podcast. Come on, man. Good girl.
Oh my God,
Okay.
Did it happen?
Yeah, she did it. Yeah, good girl. Now she's like, where's my treat? I'll give it to you later after the podcast. Good girl, Bingo. Okay. There were women gladiators in ancient Rome. Yay!
That is so cool to know, because obviously, we don't ever see women gladiators portrayed in TVs and movies and things, so that's cool.
Do you want to know something else that we always think? Vikings didn't have those horns on their helmets. That one's a little sad, because I like those horns, but
of course.
Yeah, that's totally made up.
By big media? Who made that up, I wonder?
I don't know if it's in an old movie or an old something that we just all started believing that that's the way it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, history is so easily rewritten.
Easily rewritten.
They're probably like, well, this horn isn't cool enough. We need to make it cooler. So let's put pointy horns on it.
Yeah.
Back to the gladiator thing. Do you remember any additional info about that, or how you learned that piece of information?
I don't, and honestly, the how I learned it was the most surprising and crazy part of writing the book, because I thought information would be easy to find, but as you were just saying, history is so easily rewritten. So going to get, and I did include all of my sources in the back of the book for every single fact, because the internet is such a liar. So, so I don't remember exactly the source on that, but I remember that I had to make sure it was a good one.
Yeah.
Because, it's scary out there.
The internet is a very scary world. Well, that's cool. I love getting a little bit more of the behind the scenes info of where the information came from, or other things that you remember from that. So maybe at the end of the show, we'll do another one of those short little trivia things. Cool. Well, we are here to talk about a small section of words in alphabetical order. I think this will be a good section. There's a lot of different things here, which doesn't always happen. So let's just get into it.
So excited.
Okay, don't be. Keep your expectations low.
Okay, I'm medium excited.
All right, the first word is conidiophore, and it is spelled Conidiophore. Conidiophore. It is a noun from 1874, a specialized hyphal branch of some fungi that produces conidia. Yeah, that's about all there is to that. Do you know anything about the fungi?
No, but this just made me have this really funny thought about you know how whenever they add a new word to the dictionary,
Yeah.
there's all of this like, that's not a word, or like the dictionary's turning to trash. And it's so funny to think of people in 1874 being like, conidiophore, that's not a word. So you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, totally.
getting really mad that this is like, oh, this dictionary is just nothing now. It means nothing.
Right.
Anyway.
These kids today with their new words, conidiophore.
with these kids today with their conidiophore and their fungi words. Yeah.
I want to hear some millennials use this word. Yeah, I don't know a lot about the fungi, especially something like this, but I did watch that documentary, Fantastic Fungi.
Okay, I got really high and I watched it and I was blown away.
Yeah.
It's so good. Highly recommend.
These things that live in the ground and come out above the ground are just fascinating, and I think they are like it's a world that will keep on evolving as we keep on learning about them. It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. They're talking to each other underground and they taste delicious. It's wonderful.
See, I would argue about that because I don't like them, but I think I need to start experimenting. I need to like try them all and see what's going on.
Find your mushroom.
Right, exactly. Okay, well, this next one is related. It is conidium. It is a noun from 1856, an asexual spore produced by a conidiophore of certain fungi. And conidial is an adjective. This is from, this gives you a good idea of like what these spores are like. It is from the Greek word konis with a K, which means dust. And there's more at the word incinerate. So yeah, the spores that come out of these fungi just flow through the air like dust. And so the spore of some fungi is the conidium.
So you're already eating little baby mushrooms, basically.
Oh, yeah. We're constantly ingesting baby mushrooms and skin flakes and all that stuff.
Skin flakes, yay! It's so weird that conidium was around almost 20 years before conidiophore.
Yeah, that's always an interesting, like, how did that happen? What was going on there? I don't know. Okay, we are going to move on to conifer. It's a tree. This is a big one. Conifer trees. It is it's a noun from circa 1841. We just have one long definition. Any of an order, coniferales, of mostly evergreen trees and shrubs having usually needle-shaped or scale-like leaves and including forms, like pines, with true cones and others, as yews, with an aureliate fruit. So obviously there was a bunch of information there. They're conifer evergreen trees. Coniferous.
This is the first word I know. This is the first word I would use.
Happy
that there is one. Yeah.
Oh, there's more that you will definitely know, but yeah, no, for sure. There are definitely sections I'm like, I don't know any of these words. I've never heard any of them. Yeah, coniferous is an adjective. This is from the Latin conifere, which means cone-bearing. So if you're confused about the difference between conifer trees and deciduous trees, I think those would be the two things. Conifer trees have cones, which are usually, evergreens, pines, that kind of thing. That's it for that one.
Agree. Just happy to recognize it.
Yeah. I have a distinct memory of probably in first grade learning deciduous trees and conifer trees and like, whoa, there's two kinds. And then, ever since then, the conifer trees, the leaves don't fall in the fall and the other ones do.
And that's it. That's all you need to know about trees.
Pretty much. That's it. Education done.
Moving on.
Moving on to the word coniyine. This is a hard word to say. Coniyine. And it is it's spelled conidine. So there's that double I, which makes you say coniyine. It is a noun from 1831. A poisonous alkaloid, C8H17N, found in poison hemlock.
What is hemlock? See, this is where I'm dumb. I'm dumb.
No, see, I'm right with you because I've heard it. I've heard it so many times, and I kind of have a thought that it's poisonous, like it just said here, but I don't really know what it is. Are you looking it up?
I am looking it up. It's a plant. It's a flowering plant. It's a pretty little plant, honestly.
So it's like poison ivy in that sort of world.
It's got a flower on it. It's white.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the stuff in it that is poisonous is conidiophore. Yeah.
Was this the plant from Breaking Bad?
That was ricin.
Oh yeah,
I think. Yeah, different one.
Okay.
All right, well maybe I will I'll have to post a picture. No, I'll wait to post a picture on the social media of hemlock until we get to the H's. We can't skip ahead like that.
Honestly, I think now knowing this, it would be really rad to do like a photo shoot among a ton of hemlock. Like I think that would be like really badass, you know? Like just because like on first look it would be like, oh cool, she's got a bunch of flowers, and then secondly you're like, she's surrounded by death, and it's like if you can only know if you know.
Right, exactly. If you know hemlock, you know how badass that was.
Yeah.
But then I would love to see the after photos of like how did it affect your, like, did you get a rash? Maybe those are the pictures on the back of the album.
Oh, that's so funny. And also, like, I really want to do this now, but I have the most sensitive skin. And I was like, if I was born in the 19th century, I would have been dead at age 3. Like, everything affects me so hard.
Right.
Yeah. Probably not smart for me, but kind of want to try it anyway.
Good luck with that. Let me know how it goes.
Thank you. I may or may not be able to.
Yeah. You may have to find a patch of hemlock. Okay, our next word, it's an abbreviation, CONJ. It's for conjunction and conjunctive. And let's see, conjunction. Oh, I think those are in coming up episodes, so we haven't gotten there yet. But I have because I recorded them.
Oh, wild. You're so organized.
You have no idea. Okay, we're going to move on to conjectural. Conjectural. It is an adjective from 1553. 1, of the nature of or involving or based on conjecture. And 2, given to conjectures. And conjecturally is an adverb. Is this a thing they say in court? Conjecture or something?
Maybe. I feel like conjecture is a word that I will use every once in a while, but the idea of the given to conjectures. Oh, is that the one they use in court? Yeah, because I'm like, that's not even. It sounds like it's almost an insult, but it's not. Like, oh, you're so given to conjectures. Like you're conjectural. And we're like, well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I feel like I've heard it where, like, oh, that's conjecture. Like, oh, you're like assuming that you know the thing. That's conjecture. But we can learn more about this because our next word is conjecture. So let's not guess and let's just read.
Let's read.
It is a noun from the 14th century. This is the first form of conjecture. Number 1 is obsolete. So 1A is interpretation of omens. That was maybe the first use of conjecture. Interpreting omens like crows flying or something. 1B, the synonym is supposition. 2A, interference from defective or presumptive evidence. Interference from defective or presumptive evidence. So the evidence is, my brain has to work like extra hard to understand things like this sometimes. It's presumptive. It's, assuming, or it's defective. Okay. And you're inferring information from bad evidence.
So somebody's like, that's just conjecture. Then it's like,
right.
Well, that part is kind of not true. That's not good.
Yeah.
That's the bad part.
Exactly. That's exactly how I would have worded it. Okay, 2B, a conclusion deduced by surmise or guesswork. So again, you're making conclusions based on things that you probably shouldn't be making conclusions on. And then 2C, a proposition, as in mathematics, before it has been proved or disproved. So again, you're saying things are definite when you shouldn't be saying that.
I feel like that is the use that I hear it most often. Like you kind of admit that you don't really know. You're like, I conjecture, my conjecture, because it's a noun, is, it's also a verb. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of us.
It's both.
It's both. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
guess if you can insult somebody by saying you're being conjectural, which
Right, right.
is that
Yeah,
going to even
like
work in 2021 or 2022? Is that
for
even
sure.
going to hurt?
Nobody's going to know what you mean, but yeah, you could totally use it. The etymology for conjecture says it is from the Latin verb connicere, which literally means to throw together. So you're throwing together some information. It is from com plus jacere, which means to throw, and there's more at the word jet. So now let's talk about the verb form. It's the second form of conjecture, verb from the 15th century, starting with transitive. Number one, to arrive at or deduce by conjecture. And then the synonym is guess, as in scientists conjecturing that a disease is caused by a defective gene. So yeah, they're guessing. Number two, to make conjectures as to. That's that's the sentence. To make conjectures as to, as in the example, conjecture the meaning of a statement. This causes so many problems. If you're conjecturing the meaning of a statement, the thing with people say things, they can be interpreted in so many different ways. So that's why I'm a big fan of just being really clear with what you say, because otherwise people are going to conjecture it and misinterpret it. And then real quickly, we have an intransitive definition, which just says to form conjectures.
So now we're at the point with the word conjecture, which now I don't believe it's a word anymore. You know, when you hear a word
Agreed.
so many times or you say it in your head so many times, you're like, it's meaningless. I'm just staring at it. I'm like, what are these shapes?
That happens to me all the time, especially because I'm reading the book that has words in alphabetical order. So yeah, it happens a lot. And then conjecturer is a noun. The rural juror conjecturer.
Oh,
Okay.
is that a tongue twister?
Well, no, the rural I can't even say
Rural
it. The rural
juror is
juror,
from
30 Rock.
30 Rock, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So then I just added conjecturer to it. Okay, next word is conjoin. Verb from the 14th century. We have one transitive and one intransitive. So the transitive says to join together as separate entities for a common purpose. To join together for a common purpose. And intransitive is to join together for a common purpose. The etymology is from Latin com plus jungere or jungere, which means to join, and there's more at the word yoke. So yeah, it's all. Of course, when I hear the word conjoin, I think of conjoined twins.
Yes, that is where my mind goes as well. Which I was just thinking about conjoined twins. You have to be a pretty decent person. Like, I feel like being a conjoined twin would force you to be a better person, because if I was stuck to me, I would kill me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I would have to get better just to survive so that I didn't kill me. Assuming that they're, what is it? Fraternal? What's the one where
Well,
they're
it
the
was
same?
yeah. So I think by definition they are they can never be fraternal twins. They have to be identical twins because they came from the same embryo. They came from the same
Right.
egg. Right.
Yeah.
So they're always identical twins.
So for self-preservation, you have to learn to be kind of fun and kind.
Yeah. That brings up something I've never thought about that, but I think you're absolutely right that it forces you. I wonder if they've ever done a psychological study on conjoined twins and how they view other people and like their level of empathy or something like that, because they have been with another person, literally with them for their entire life, and yeah, that's got to totally change your brain. Or have an effect on your brain that other people don't have.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. I would. I can't even live with myself. Like sometimes you're just like, oh, I wish I could take a vacation from me, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, it's
yeah.
the one thing I can't take a vacation from. Can you even imagine if you had another you that you had to?
No.
Oh boy, oh boy.
But that's the thing.
Mad
that
respect.
If you did, you wouldn't even be yourself. You'd be a whole different person if you had a conjoined
I
twin.
would be a lot better, probably.
That's a judgment statement. That's subjective.
I would be less annoying. That's for sure.
Oh, see, then I wouldn't want to talk to you. You're fun. I don't remember how old I was. Maybe junior high. I did an essay on, or like a research project or something on, I think like the first documented conjoined twins, which of course back then were called Siamese twins, and it was I think they were from at the time Siam, and it was I think it was Chang and Ang, these two men, and it was like the least possible way of being conjoined twins. They just had like a piece of flesh in between their bellies. They were like completely different people, but they just had a piece of flesh that connected their bellies.
Whoa.
And they ended up having wives and kids, and like I always find that so fascinating.
And they couldn't. What century was this, or what year was this?
This was a long, long time ago. Yeah, today they could have easily been separated. Like,
right?
Yeah. So no, this was like 200 or probably late 1800s. I'm guessing.
Okay,
it was a while ago. Yeah,
wild.
So
Good
fascinating.
That's one big bed.
Oh my God! Right? You need a California king. I just find like the human body with things like that so fascinating.
I am terrified of not conjoined twins specifically, but the human body. Like I just had surgery last week, and I wouldn't even look at it for like 3 days. I was like in the shower, just you do water, do your thing, you know.
Please work.
I'm
with
so
on the wound.
afraid of bodies. Yeah.
Oh man, you should read the Bill Bryson book. It's called The Human Body: A Guide for I'm blanking on the word. Occupants. A guide for occupants.
Oh, I love that. I love that idea. Okay.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. I haven't read a lot of it yet, but it's good stuff.
It's a very funny way of wording it, and I
Right.
really, really feel that hard.
Exactly. Okay, well, related to conjoined, we have conjoined with an ed. This one is an adjective from 1570. Being, coming, or brought together so as to meet, touch, overlap, or unite. That's a lot of stuff going on in there. As in the example, conjoined heads on a coin.
I don't get that. I don't
don't
that.
either.
Is that just somebody creepy putting their weird thing? Heads on a coin?
Yeah, what? Conjoined heads on a coin. That must be something very specific that we just don't know. I think. I may have to look that up.
I know. I'm going to look it up too, because it's cracking me up. Heads on a coin.
But yeah, it's it's all about coming together in various ways, in lots of different ways. Okay, well, while you're looking that up, I'm going to move on to the word conjoint with a T at the end. Adjective from 1725. Number 1, synonyms are united and conjoined. So it's just another way to say conjoined. Number 2, related to, made up of, or carried on by 2 or more in combination. And the synonym is joint. Joining things together, joint, yeah. Conjointly is an adverb, and the etymology isn't terribly interesting. Did you find anything?
I am so sorry to say that all I'm getting on Google is just about why it's better to flip a coin or choose heads, when
right.
you do coin flips, because it's got like a little bit more chance of showing up because of the weight of the coin, the sides of the coin.
The tail side has a little extra weight to it. But, I think that depends on the coin and the country and all that.
Do you always pick heads or tails?
I don't think I have a standard. Do you?
Tails.
Well, see, now I'm going to pick heads, though, because of science.
Yeah, but that's why I picked tails, because it's like the underdog. Like, I like that. I like being the underdog from the get-go,
Yep. Yeah, if you don't win, then you know that you're still in that underdog position and you got to fight for it.
Yeah. And if you win, you're like, yeah, because underdogs always pull through. I don't know. It's like a weird... it's probably to do with my self-esteem and something I should talk about in therapy, but we've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, we got to talk about conjoining things. Actually, that's we're going in a different route after this one. But yeah, no, if you do win the coin toss, then you also I beat science.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
There you go. Okay. Maybe I'll do a little research on this whole conjoined heads on a coin thing, and I'll put some info in the show notes. Moving on to another topic. It is conjugal. 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 It is an adjective from 1545 of or relating to the married state or to married persons and their relations. And connubial is a synonym. We have an example, conjugal happiness. Conjugality is a noun. Conjugally, that's a weird word to say.
Conjugally.
Conjugally, that is an adverb. So let's get a little bit more information in the etymology. Let's see. From Latin conjugalis, which is from conjux, which means husband or wife. That's interesting. From conjungere, which means to join or unite in marriage. So, these days, we'll talk about this next one in a second, but these days we think of conjugal in a very specific way, I think. But really, it's just all about marriage, everything related to a marriage, it sounds like.
Do you think that this is the dictionary being a little bit coy? Do you think that, the dictionary is you can figure it out?
Right. Well, our next one is conjugal rights, so that is where we get into a whole other world. But yeah, I think they're just being we're gonna be very accurate. We're gonna be very kind of vague. This definition is gonna cover all the bases, and then these other things are implied in that.
Is making my Hello Fresh for me and my husband for dinner a conjugal act?
Huh.
I
think so. Let's see. Of or relating to the married state or to married persons and their relations. So yes, if it's related to your relations, then yes, I think it would be.
If there's a lot of cheese in it, then I would just find it sexual anyway. But I'm saying, it's do non-sexual activities count? And I guess they do. But that's not how we use it.
No, not typically.
Colloquially, yeah.
But yeah, I want to know, I want to hear this used in an example that it's, non-sexual. Because that's how we think of it usually.
Yeah. I got to go pick up my husband from work. It's a conjugal duty. This just sounds like we're going to mess around in the car.
With duty? No, that's a different word. That's where my mind always goes with that word. Okay, conjugal rights, 2 words, noun from 1768. The sexual rights or privileges implied by and involved in the marriage relationship, and then also the right of sexual intercourse between husband and wife. Now, when I have heard this used, though, I feel does it have to be between a husband and a wife, or can people in jail get conjugal rights
for same-sex partners?
Well, anything, same-sex or not even being married.
Oh. Huh.
Now, this also doesn't say anything about jail. It's just the sexual rights or privileges implied by and involved in the marriage relationship. Huh.
Did you watch Orange is the New Black?
Yes, I watched most of it.
So, from my recollection of that is that you have to be married to get the conjugal rights in jail.
Oh, okay.
And that's why What's-Her-Name gets married.
Right. That's probably accurate. And I think there was Arrested Development. I think they had a whole conjugal rights thing in that show. Did you watch that?
Yes. Yeah, but when I was I'm dating myself. When I was in college, a very long time ago.
Right. Yeah, it's been a while for me too. Yeah, this is another one of those definitions that's way more vague than I would have expected it to be.
Right. Do you have to be married? Sorry.
Oh no, I love this on the spot research. This is great.
Do you have to be married to get conjugal rights in jail? So you could have a domestic partnership, and it just had to have been established formally before incarceration.
Right. So you can't have met somebody the day before you went to jail and then have conjugal rights with them.
You could if you got married to them.
Well, sure. Fair point. If you were in Vegas.
If you were in Vegas, yeah.
And then you got arrested, and then you went to jail. Yeah. I'm sure that's happened. Because everything has happened.
Everything has happened. Yesterday, I wanted to order a cake that was half red velvet, half peanut butter, and my husband was like, "You can't. You just making this up. You can't do it." I'm like, "Hey, listen, it's not that late. We could do this." And he was like, "Does that even exist?" And I'm like, "Babe, it exists."
Oh yeah.
And yeah. Anyway.
Even if it didn't physically exist, it existed in your head, which means it has the potential to exist in real life. And I would absolutely love to have a red velvet peanut butter cake.
Right? I'm going to make it.
Please. Tell me how it is.
Thank you. I will.
Send me a picture.
Okay.
All right. Well, we are on our last word. It is conjugant. 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 Noun from 1910. Either of a pair of conjugating gametes or organisms.
So, what?
Yeah. That's how I feel too. Gametes, I know this word, what it means in the back of my brain somewhere. It's like...
It's a little science word.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it's related to embryos or something like that.
It's a mature haploid male or female germ cell, which
That's
is
what I was
able
gonna
to
say.
unite with another one of the opposite sex in sexual
Yeah.
reproduction from a zygote.
So would the egg and the sperm be gametes?
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. So,
Either of a pair of conjugating gametes or organisms.
Yeah,
Why not?
I believe it.
So now that we read all the words, I'm going to just quickly reread the words, and then you get to pick a word of the episode, whatever one you liked or disliked or whatever one you choose.
Okay.
So the words were conidiophore, conidium, conifer, coniyine, conjectural, conjecture, conjoin, conjoined, conjoint, conjugal rights, and conjugant.
So I'm going to go with the word that made my brain expand a little bit. And that was conjoined, because it made me think about when we were talking about the psychology of conjoined twins and what it must be like. And I hadn't really thought about that. So I'm very happy to have had that conversation.
Me too. So are you picking conjoin or conjoined?
I think I'll take conjoined.
Conjoined with an ED. Excellent. Now, off the top of your head, can you sing a little song about conjoined?
Oh, conjoined twins, they're nicer and better than me.
Perfect. I love it. That is gold. That's going up in the Hall of Fame, I think.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so we are at the time where I'm going to read some holidays quickly for today, December 16th, 2021. I hope you are listening to this on this day, and if you're not, what is wrong with you?
Can I give a shout out to my bestiest, oldest friend in the world, Meg Allison from Chicago as well. We've known each other since we were little babies, and we're still so tight, and it's her birthday today.
Happy birthday. You'll have to listen to this to hear this.
I'll get her to listen.
There we go. Okay, so in addition to that very special birthday, in South Africa, it is Day of Reconciliation. In, let's see, National Day, which celebrates the withdrawal of the United Kingdom from Bahrain, making Bahrain independent in 1971. In Thailand, it is National Sports Day. Let's see, beginning of the 9-day celebration of Mary and Joseph something. In Bangladesh and India, it is Victory Day, so they were victorious over something. Let's see. Let's check this page, which has typically some more fun holidays, like, Barbie and Barney Backlash Day.
Okay.
I'm
for it.
What? I'm flabbergasted by that one. It is Boston Tea Party Day, so it must have happened on this day, I guess. I should know this, but I don't know my history so good. Oh, this is a good one. National Chocolate Covered Anything Day. So anything that's covered in chocolate, which just, it sounds good to me, just eat that. Maybe it's a red velvet peanut butter cake.
That's what it's going to be.
This Stupid Toy Day. Do you have any toys that are stupid?
I have a Rubik's Cube on my desk. That's actually the smartest toy.
Right. That's why I still can't solve one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I love it. I don't know how to do it.
Don't know how. Will I learn? I don't know. I've had 2 years in lockdown pretty much, so haven't learned yet. It's not looking good, gotta say.
Yeah. Once I downloaded an app that supposedly it gave you the directions and stuff, I never put the amount of energy into it as I should have. If I really wanted to learn, I could, but I haven't. So I would call that a pretty stupid toy.
Yeah, stupid.
Stupid Rubik's Cube. It is Kazakhstan Independence Day. It is Vijay Diwas. It is, let's see, we had that, Las Posadas. And that is all of the holidays for today.
Wow. Good. Pick your
Good
favorite.
stuff.
What do we want to celebrate?
National anything covered in chocolate,
yeah.
of course.
Fair.
Well, thank you to Emily for being on this podcast. Can you go ahead and read one of those trivia things?
Sure. All right. Okay.
I want to
Here
see
we
what
go.
we get.
Going to a random page. This is one I don't know more stuff about, but it's just the one I hit.
That's
Raindrops aren't tear-shaped. They're hamburger-shaped. Love it.
Hamburger shaped.
Yeah.
So like a hamburger?
Yeah, little tiny hamburgers. Oh, can I read one more? Because this one makes me really happy. Great news. We don't actually swallow 8 spiders per year during sleep. God. That is a total myth. Totally made up by the internet.
The real number is 23.
Yeah, I didn't include that because it's mostly an uplifting book. No. You're safe. You're good.
Do you have more information on that one?
I think I actually looked that one up specifically because I sometimes I would just like when I was writing this book I would just think of things that I knew to be true and look them up to see if they were, and that was one where sorry, my dog is barking right outside, where I specifically was like, I hope this isn't true, and I was so pleasantly surprised to find the scientific articles that said no, that's not true. Yeah. Another one that's like that is the gum one. Like if you swallow gum, it's not going to stay for 7 years. It comes out in like the next couple days.
Nice. Yeah. It does seem like that would take longer to digest than other things, but it's still like you're still putting something in your body, so it should be like fairly digestible.
It's coming out. I mean, gooey cheese and gum are not that different in consistency,
Yeah. When I was a kid, I used to swallow gum, I guess. So my parents would have to do a gum check. Make sure you haven't swallowed it. So I think for a long time I was like, oh my God, I've got all this gum stuck in my stomach.
In middle school, there was this kid that would swallow pennies, and I thought it was so hot.
What?
I was like, he's so bad. He's so dangerous.
And that just set you on a path.
Yeah. Looking for the bad boy that swallows pennies. Anyway. I can't remember if he had any medical consequences of that. Yeah.
That does not sound. I mean, he was like a human piggy bank.
Yeah. Also
but
hot.
That's hard to get the. Anyway, we won't go down that route. Thank you so much. This has been a blast. I'm gonna put all of your links. Or do you have links that you want to say verbally of like where people can find you on social media?
Sure. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Emily MC Winter. That's Emily McWinter. It's a stupid name. I'm sorry. And please follow me. And I have a podcast called Comedians with Ghost Stories. And my website is emilywintercomedy.com. And all my stupid stuff is there.
I need a place to put all my stupid stuff. It's currently a link tree that sends you to other places, but I own a website, but I need to actually make a website. Maybe someday I will.
Honestly, if you're ever having a bad day where you hate yourself and don't feel like you've ever accomplished anything in your life, it's a good project to work on because then you're like, oh, I did do something, So that's like when I feel sad, that's when I work on my website.
There you go. That's a good plan. Yeah. Maybe I'll be working on my website every day. All right. Well, we're going to end the episode there. Thank you again. And until next time, this is Spencer and sometimes other people reading the dictionary and talking about it. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. Currently, I'm planning on having a guest on yesterday's episode, and hopefully it happened. If it didn't, if you're listening to these in order, which obviously you should, you will know by now, but I don't know yet. Okay, let's read the words. We have lots of related words. So the first one is conjugate or conjugate. Conjugate. First form, adjective from the 15th century. 1a, joined together, especially in pairs. And the synonym is coupled. 1b, acting or operating as if joined. 2a, having features in common, but opposite or inverse in some particular. To me, I think there should be another word at the end. In some particular what? In some particular fashion? In some particular way? To be, relating to or being conjugate complex numbers, as in complex roots occurring in conjugate pairs. And we will learn more about conjugate complex number shortly. Number 3 is talking about an acid or a base related by the difference of a proton, as in the acid NH4 plus and the base NH3 are conjugate to each other. Or would it be conjugate? I don't know. Number 4, having the same derivation and therefore usually some likeness in meaning, as in conjugate words. And number 5 is talking about 2 leaves of a book. Is a page a leaf? A leaf? It means forming a single piece. So maybe the front of a page and the back of a page are the leaves, and then they form one piece, one page. I don't know, I'm guessing. Okay, conjugately is an adverb, and conjugateness is a noun. This is from the Latin verb conjugare, which means to unite. And that is from cum plus jugare, which means to join, from, how do you say this, jugum? Jugum. That means yoke, and there's more at the word yoke. Next is conjugate, second form, verb from 1530, starting with transitive. 1. To give in prescribed order the various inflectional forms of. And this is usually used especially of a verb. You're conjugating the verb. So I remember taking Spanish and Latin and the different conjugations of the verb. It would be like, okay, what's the word to go? Okay, I go, we go, you go, they go. You know, those are the different conjugations of the verb. And then, of course, in many languages, the word changes. How does it? So let's see. Let's see if I can think of, okay, the first one that came to mind in Spanish, I don't know why it popped in my mind, bailar. I think that's to dance. Bailar. Bailar, to dance. So I dance is bailo. You dance would be bailas. We dance bailamos. But was they dance bailan? I don't know if I'm remembering this all correctly. I think I'm close though. Anyway, that's verbs, conjugating verbs. Number 2, to join together. Now we have intransitive. 1, to become joined together. 2a, to pair. Yes, to pair and fuse in conjugation. 2b, to pair in synapsis. Third form of conjugate, I think it could be conjugate or conjugate. It is a noun from circa 1586. 1, something conjugate, a product of conjugating. Number 2, synonym is conjugate complex number. 3, this is a longish definition, an element of a mathematical group that is equal to a given element of the group multiplied on the right by another element and on the left by the inverse of the latter element. Yeah, that's something. An element of a mathematical group that is equal to... Yeah, I sort of get it, but I don't know. I'd have to figure it out. Okay, next is conjugate complex number. 3 words. Maybe it's conjugate. I'm not sure. Noun from circa 1909. 1 of 2 complex numbers differing only in the sign of the imaginary part. What is the imaginary part? Next is conjugated. Adjective from 1882. 1, formed by the union of 2 compounds or united with another compound, as in conjugated bile acids. Tasty bile acids. No, don't drink those. Number 2, relating to, containing, or being a system of 2 double bonds separated by a single bond, as in conjugated fatty acids, also as in conjugated double bonds. Next is conjugated protein, noun from circa 1909, 2 words, a compound of a protein with a non-protein, as in hemoglobin is a conjugated protein. And it says compared to simple protein, so that's probably just a simple protein, just one. Yeah. All right, next we have conjugation. It is a noun from the 15th century. We have a number of definitions. 1a, a schematic arrangement of the inflectional forms of a verb. We talked about that before. Conjugate those verbs and make a conjugation. Okay, 1b, verb inflection. 1c, a class of verbs having the same type of inflectional forms, as in the weak conjugation. 1d, a set of the simple or derivative inflectional forms of a verb, especially in Sanskrit or the Semitic languages, as in the causative conjugation. I don't really know this stuff. It gets too much for my brain. Number 2, the act of conjugating, the state of being conjugated. It's the conjugation. 3a, a fusion of usually similar gametes with ultimate union of the nuclei and sexual reproduction that occurs in most fungi and in some algae, as green algae or algae or algae. There's so many ways. 3b, temporary cytoplasmic union with exchange of nuclear material that is the usual sexual process in ciliated protozoans. And 3c, the one-way transfer of DNA between bacteria in cellular contact. Conjugational is an adjective. Conjugationally is an adverb. And our last word is conjunct. Conjunct or conjunct, still emphasizing the second syllable. We have 2 forms. The second form will be emphasizing the first syllable, but let's only focus on the first one right now. I'll say conjunct. conjunct, adjective from the 15th century. 1, synonyms are united and joined. Number 2, synonym is joint. 3, relating to melodic progression by intervals of no more than a major second. And compare to the synonym, it would be the antonym, disjunct. So let's see, a major second. So if you look at the major scale, it goes do, 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 do. The first 2 notes, the first note is the root, do. The second note is the major second because it is the second in the major scale. Do, do. That is a whole note. It's made up of 2 half notes. So there's a half note in between there. If you look at it chromatically, so the conjunct, it's a melodic progression by intervals no more than a major second. So it can't be more than 1 whole note away, I guess. Okay, second form is conjunct, noun from 1667. Number 1, something joined or associated with another, specifically, one of the components of a conjunction. 2, an adverb or adverbial that indicates the speaker's or writer's assessment of the connection between linguistic units. So now I'm going to read that with the parentheses. This is going to get a little bit weird. An adverb or adverbial, as the words so, in addition, however, or secondly, that indicates the speaker's or writer's assessment of the connection between linguistic units as clauses. Not Santa Clauses. So the words in this episode, because I read them all, I'm going to reread them real quickly. It is conjugate, complex number, conjugated protein, conjugation, and a conjunct and conjunct. I don't know what to pick as the word of the episode. These were all just sort of they were just fine. What's a fun word to sing? Maybe we will pick conjugate complex number because there's so much going on there. How do you, I don't know. Conjugate complex number. It's a conjugate complex number. Let's read the holidays. It is Kurdistan Flag Day. In Bahrain, it is Accession Day. It is International Day to End Violence Against Sex Workers. Sex work is work. Please don't be violent or mean. It's also, we already said Kurdish Flag Day. Bhutan National Day. The U.S. has Pan American Aviation Day because it's Wright Brothers Day. It is a United States federal observance by presidential proclamation. Does that mean that we get the day off of work for Wright Brothers Day? I don't think so. It is National Maple Syrup Day in the U.S. and Canada, and I think this should be an international holiday because maple syrup is great. In Russia, it is Strategic Missile Troops Day. In Venezuela, it is anniversary of the death of Simon Bolivar. In Colombia, it is Latin American Day of the Environmentalist. Fun holidays. National Ugly Christmas Sweater Day. These silly sweaters have gotten so popular in recent years. There was a silly horror movie called, was it Ugly Christmas Sweater Party, something like that? Underdog Day. That's a holiday. It is National Device Appreciation Day, so appreciate all of your devices because they help you do things, but you can also get kind of addicted to them pretty easily, so, don't appreciate them all the way. All right, we're going to end this episode. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the episode that's today. That's not how I say things. Welcome to the podcast called The Dictionary. Well, let's see. It's the end of page 263. It is time for you to go rate and review this podcast. Find me on social media. Write a thing. Share this podcast. Subscribe to this podcast. And yeah, that's fine. Okay, the first word in this episode is conjunction. conjunction. Noun from the 14th century. 1. The act or an instance of conjoining. The state of being conjoined. Synonym is combination, as in working in conjunction with state and local authorities. 2. Occurrence together in time or space. Synonym is concurrence. 3a. The apparent meeting or passing of two or more celestial bodies in the same degree of the zodiac. 3b. A configuration in which two celestial bodies have their least apparent separation. What sort of celestial bodies are we talking about? Probably stars, possibly comets, I guess, and other things. Asteroids. Okay, number 4. An uninflected linguistic form that joins together sentences, clauses, phrases, or words. Number 5. A complex sentence in logic true if and only if each of its components is true. That was a complex sentence. So a complex sentence in logic, true if and only if each of its components is true. What? And then it says to see the truth table. Yeah, it's the truth table. There is a table for truth tables. Man, I can't wait. I honestly, when I started this podcast, I had no idea I had no idea how much actual more additional information was in here than I would have expected. I don't know. It's been kind of fascinating. Okay. That was that. So conjunctional is an adjective. Conjunctionally is an adverb. Next is conjunctiva. Conjunctiva. Yeah. It is a noun from the 14th century. It is the mucous membrane that lines the inner surface of the eyelids and is continued over the forepart of the eyeball. See the eye illustration. So it is the membrane that is on the inside of your eyelid. So when you close your eyes, it's the part that is touching your eyeball. It's the conjunctiva. Let's see. The etymology isn't terribly interesting. Let's see. We have another related word coming up. First, we have to talk about conjunctive. Adjective from 1581. Number one. Oh, did I say conjunctival is an adjective? Okay, so conjunctive, number one, synonym is connective. Two, synonyms are conjunct and conjoined. Three, being or functioning like a conjunction. Four is the 1A definition for copulative. Conjunctive is a noun. Conjunctively is an adverb. Next is conjunctivitis. Yeah, I think if you know even just a little bit of medical stuff, you know where this is going. It is a noun from 1835. Inflammation of the conjunctiva. Conjunctiva. That is a hard word to say sometimes. You do not want your conjunctiva to be inflamed, because that would probably hurt, or at the very least be really uncomfortable, and it might affect your sight, and I don't like that. Okay, next we have conjuncture, noun from 1605. 1. Synonyms are conjunction and union. 2. A combination of circumstances or events usually producing a crisis, and the synonym is juncture. Next is conjunto. 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 Noun from 1982. It is a kind of Mexican-American music that has been influenced by the music of German immigrants to Texas and that features the accordion in addition to Mexican elements. And of course, we're going to play some of that music right now.
El Rosanito se está secando, va a enverdecer ni las flores.
It is an American Spanish word, and it literally means ensemble, or maybe it's sometimes fun to say ensemble. So yeah, I mean, it's an ensemble of Mexican elements, German, Texas, so many things going on. Conjunto music. Okay, next we have conjuration. Conjuration. Noun from the 14th century. 1. The act or process of conjuring. Synonym is incantation. 2. An expression or trick used in conjuring. 3. A solemn appeal. Synonym is adjuration. And here we go with the word conjure. Let's see. Conjure, conjure, you could say that as well. It is a verb from, there's so many ways. Conjure, senses, conjure, also conjure, in verb 1, conjure, verb, conjured, conjuring, conjure, yeah, so many things going on here, even before we get to the etymology. Okay, so it is a verb from the 13th century, starting with transitive. 1, to charge or entreat earnestly or solemnly. 2a, to summon by or as if by invocation or incantation. Let's see, 2b1, to affect or effect by or as if by magic. And yes, both forms of that word, affect and effect were in the definition. To affect or effect by or as if by magic. I want to magic. To be to, synonyms are imagine and contrive. And this is often used with the word up, as in, we conjure up our own metaphors that our own needs. Did I read that correctly? My eyes wandered. We conjure up our own metaphors for our own needs. That is a quote from R.J. Kaufman. To be three, to bring to mind, as in words that conjure pleasant images. And this is also often used with the word up, as in conjure up memories. Now we are on intransitive. 1a, to summon a devil or spirit by invocation or incantation. What incantations can you say to summon a devil or a spirit? Don't give it a shot. Don't try it, because you might do it. And then what do? Then you got to get rid of it. And how do you do that? 1b, to practice magical arts. 2, to use a conjurer's tricks. And the synonym, I did not know this was a conjurer's trick. It's juggle. The synonym is juggle. Are jugglers conjurers? There is a phrase, conjure with. It is chiefly British, and it means to treat or regard as important. As in, the example, it is a quote, Victor Hugo is a name to conjure with. You need to treat Victor Hugo as important. That is a quote, by the way, from Peter France. The etymology says it is from the Latin conjurare, which means to join in taking an oath. That is a long definition. To join in taking an oath. From com plus jurare, which means to swear, and there's more at the word jury. Do you swear to tell the whole truth? Next word is conjurer. It is spelled with an ER or an OR. It is a noun from the 14th century. One that practices magic arts. Synonym is a wizard. I want to be a conjurer. Number 2, one that performs feats of sleight of hand and illusion. And synonyms are magician and juggler. I would not have called a juggler someone who performs feats of sleight of hand or illusion. Juggling is a fascinating skill, but it is not sleight of hand or an illusion. I mean, you can probably turn it into sleight of hand or illusion, but then you'd just be a juggling magician. But juggling in and of itself is just a good skill. It's a very practical skill too. Okay, we are going to do one more because it's the last one on this page. It is the first form of the word conk, C-O-N-K. It's a good word. Noun from 1812. It is slang and chiefly British. So it's a chiefly British slang, and the synonym is nose. I love the idea that people call your nose the conk. That is your conk. Oh, you got a big conk. We have a couple more forms of the word conk in tomorrow's episode. There's more than a couple. All right, so the holidays today. No, I have to read the words and sing a song. Conjunction, conjunctiva, conjunctive, conjunctivitis, conjuncture, conjunto, conjuration, conjure, conjurer, and conk. What is that line? What do you take me for some conjurer of? Oh, what is that from? It's a movie that I know so well. Oh, it's Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Gandalf says to Bilbo, "Do you take me for some conjurer of blah 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 blah?" I don't know. Is that the word I'm going to pick as the word of the episode? Conjure. Maybe we'll pick conjure as the word of the episode. I am going to conjure a devil or a spirit with this incantation. Is that accurate? Did I conjure a devil or a spirit or a demon or something. I don't think I did. Okay, holidays. International Migrants Day. In Qatar, it is National Day. In Niger, I don't know how, I always say that word wrong. It is Republic Day. The UN has UN Arabic Language Day. So go learn some Arabic. It's Super Saturday in the US. I don't know why. Okay, fun holidays. I can't believe this is a real holiday. It is Answer the Phone Like Buddy the Elf Day. And it's today's December 18th, the day that this episode is airing. And I can only assume that in the movie Elf, a week before Christmas, or on this day in the movie, he answered the phone and it was December 18th. Somebody must have done the math on that, I guess. But anyway, you can answer the phone like Buddy the Elf and you can say, Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? Francisco. It is Bake Cookies Day. Flake Appreciation Day. What sort of flakes are we appreciating? People flakes? Flakes from a stone? Flakes? Red pepper flakes? What flakes? National Ham Salad Day. I'm not a fan of this next holiday, so I'm just not going to say that. National Twin Day. Yesterday, my wife and I were on a walk. So actually, we were meeting. I was on a walk to do an errand, and then she came later and she met me, and she was like, "Okay," we were texting. "Okay, I'm on this street," and I was already on that street, and I texted her and I said twins because that was just a dumb joke. She didn't even see the text. Shortly after we met up, we actually walked past twins. People that we actually know, but they didn't recognize us, and I didn't really feel like getting into a whole conversation because sometimes you just don't want to do that. Anyway, we walked past them, and then later she looked at her phone and said, "Twins?" She thought that I had texted her about the twins that we saw, but it was just a coincidence. Anyway, today's National Twin Day. National Wear a Plunger on Your Head Day. Make sure it's never been used. Buy a new plunger and put it on your head. I really, really hope I see some people wearing a plunger on their head today. National Wreaths Across America Day. Super Saturday. I don't know what that is. Let's check this one last page. We got all those. Yeah. Answer the phone like Buddy the Elf. Elf. Not elf. Elf. I don't know how to say a thing. Buddy the Elf. This is Spencer dispensing the information that failed. Thank you and goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to this episode of the dictionary. Okay, so many things to say. It's been about 2 weeks since I recorded last, which is way longer than I have gone most times. Usually I record Saturday, Sunday, almost every Saturday, Sunday, so it's rare for me to go more than a week without recording. So this is very strange. The reason I didn't record was because I went to New York City, to record with an actor, to do some voiceover work. He was doing voiceover work and some singing for a movie that I'm helping to produce, which is called Unplugged, which will come out someday because it's animated and it takes a long time to do animation, and we're still just recording the voiceover. So I'm helping to produce along with many other cast and crew. We're all helping out to make this thing happen. Someday we'll be out. Actually, it'll probably be out before this podcast is over. Okay, what else? There was something else I was going to say, and I can't remember. Oh, also, I've been slowly putting these episodes up on YouTube. So if you like to have YouTube on for your podcasts, there's no video component. It's just the logo. You can go watch that. I will post the YouTube link in the show notes. I should probably do that going forward. And I've mentioned this a long time ago, but I took a long break because it takes time to put this all together. I'm putting it up in batches of 10. So it's like episode A 121 through a 130. That's how they're up there. So they're long videos, but it's 10 episodes each. I think I'm now through a 250-ish. So I have a ways to go to catch up to where we are. And then once I'm caught up, then I'll be more regular at getting them up there every 10 episodes. Okay, that's enough chitter chatter for that. Let's talk about this first word on page 264. This is tagging on to the last word in yesterday's episode, which was conk, which is just a nose, which I loved very much. Now we are going on to the second form of conk, C-O-N-K. It is a transitive verb from 1821, and it says to hit especially on the head. And the synonym is knock out. This is just English slang from conk, which means head. So you conk your conk. You hit your conk, you get a conk on the conk by conking. Was this the name of that video game? Conk? It was something like that. Okay. Somebody suggested I post these on Reddit to get more ears on this thing, and somebody gave me some very positive feedback and some constructive criticism, which was, first of all, don't be afraid of pauses, which I'm well aware that I avoid pauses. The other thing was maybe have a little sound effect in between each word so it can be a little bit more clear when a new word happens. So maybe I will do a manual vocal sound effect instead of adding one in post, but maybe eventually I'll add one in post. So what should the sound effect be? Maybe I'll do a different one every time. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, next word is the third form of conk, noun from 1851, the visible fruiting body of a bracket fungus. Also, decay caused by such a fungus. The fruiting body is the conk, and the decay is the conk. Conky, conky, however you want to say it, that is an adjective, and this is probably an alternative of conch, C-O-N-C-H. I mean, I don't know much about the fungi, but I had not heard of conch in relation to fungus. By the way, you have to go see that movie, Fantastic Fungi, the documentary. It's out there. I think it's on Netflix. You got to go watch it. It's good stuff. Okay, boop, 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 boop. Fourth form of conk. It is an intransitive verb from 1918. One synonym is break down, especially the synonym stall, S-T-A-L-L. Like your car is conking out, breaking down, stalls out. And this is usually used with the word out, as in the motor suddenly conked out. Number 2A, the synonym is faint. To be, to go to sleep. And this is usually used with the words off or out, as in conked out for a while after lunch. That sounds really great. To see, the synonym is die, D-I-E, as in I caught pneumonia, I almost conked. That is a quote from Truman Capote. What storybook thing did he write this in? Was it in a book, or was it just a quote that he said? I caught pneumonia, I almost conked. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, we need to keep these sound effects short. This fifth form of conk is a transitive verb from 1950, and it means to straighten out, usually by the use of chemicals. And the thing that could be being straightened out is hair. So that was the whole definition, and the etymology says it is probably by shortening and alternating or an alternative of congoline. Congoline. This is a preparation used for straightening hair. I mean, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. People can't say congoline the whole time, so they just shortened it to conk. I guess it was probably Kong, but that didn't have a good ending, so they just said conk. I like it. And boop, 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 boop. Sixth form of conk, noun from 1965, a hairstyle in which the hair is straightened out and flattened down or lightly waved. This is also called also process. So the hairstyle with a straightened hair is the conk, and you get that by conking your hair. And then hopefully while the person is doing this to your hair, they don't conk you on the conk. Yeah. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. I don't know what to do for this sound effect thing. Okay. Next is conquer. We just added an ER. It is a noun from circa 1886. 1. A horse chestnut, especially when used in conkers. So that's, the color chestnut, I think. And then number 2 is plural, so conkers. This is the thing. So this is the context that we need to understand number 1 better. So maybe we'll go back to that. So 2 is plural, a game in which each player swings a horse chestnut on a string. Okay, so this is not at all what I thought it was. A player swings a horse chestnut on a string to try to break one held by the opponent. This is boggling my brain because I have no idea what a horse chestnut is. What? So maybe I will do a little bit of additional research and I will post a link or something in the show notes. You got to go check the show notes. Just today, what was the episode that aired today? What is today? November 20th, 2021. It was the episode where I said something like the Konami code and I messed up the Konami code. How could I have done that? I feel so bad to all the other people who grew up at the same time I did. Oh, so yes, I put in a little thing in the show notes that said, I messed it up, sorry. So go check the show notes for something. This conquer word is from conch plus which is from the original use of a snail shell on a string in the game. A snail shell. So they originally used a snail shell for this game, but then they went to a horse chestnut, whatever that is. I'm learning things. Doot. Next word is konmoto. 2 words, kon and then moto, moto. You could say kon or con, moto. Adverb from circa 1854. Hello, moto. With movement in a spirited manner. It's 2 things, with movement and also in a spirited manner, and this is used as a direction in music. It is Italian, as we know, con moto. Movement, moto, motorized. Okay, doot. First form of con, C-O-N-N, or just one N. It is a transitive verb from 1626, to conduct or direct the steering of. And the thing that is being steered could be a ship. To conduct or direct the steering of a ship. Con. Let's see, anything interesting in the etymology? From Middle English, conduire, which means to conduct, from Anglo-French conduire, and there's more at the word conduit. So the person who is conducting or directing the ship is a conduit to make it do, I don't know, that, or maybe they're controlling the conduit to make the ship do what they want it to do. Second form of con, also just one N. It is a noun from 1825. The control exercised by one who cons a ship. So the person is conning a ship, and they are controlling the con. Huh. Is that where they say you have the con? Is that it's like I'm trying to think back to my, Star Trek or anything where somebody's controlling a ship. I'm blanking on that. The controls. It means the controls. That's what I would think of. They just shortened it to con. Okay. Sound effect. This is con again, capital C-O-N-N. It is an abbreviation for Connecticut, but it is spelled Connecticut. And so I like to say Connecticut. Doot. I think all these sound effects are oddly similar. I need to do something different. Next word, connate or connate. Emphasis on either syllable. C-O-N-N-A-T-E. Adjective from 1641. 1. The synonyms are akin and congenial. Number 2, synonyms are innate and inborn. Number 3, born or originated together, connate. Number 4, entrapped in sediments at the time of their deposition. So that's, those are like old animals who died and then they got trapped in sediment and became fossils and stuff. As in, connate water. So I guess it's water was trapped in sediment? Connately is an adverb. This is from the Latin verb connasci, which means to be born together. From com plus nasci, which means to be born, and there's more at the word nation. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Next word is connatural. So it's natural with C-O-N at the beginning. It is an adjective from 1592. 1. Connected by nature. Synonym is inborn. 2. Of the same nature. Connaturality is a noun. Connaturality, yep. And then connaturally is an adverb. Where does this get used? Connatural. I mean, in sciencey things, I think it probably gets used. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Last word is connect. C-O-N-N-E-C-T, verb from the 15th century. Starting with intransitive. 1. To become joined, as in the two rooms connected by a hallway. There was some other example we had a while ago. It was about the two rooms. Was it communicated? Was it something like that? It was a very odd way to say that the two rooms were connected. Okay, another example for connect. This definition is ideas that connect easily to form a theory. To be, to meet for the transference of passengers, as in connecting flights. I try to avoid connecting flights, but then that just makes the flight more expensive. So if you're looking to save some money, you can get a single connecting flight with one connecting, or sometimes there can be two stops. It's gonna make your trip a whole lot longer, and you risk losing your checked baggage more. I mean, it's probably fine, but the chances go up. Anyway, why are we talking about that? Oh yeah, because we're talking about the word connect. Flights connecting from one city to another. Sometimes you can't avoid it. To be, to transfer, as from one airplane to another, as a step in traveling to a final destination. So obviously these were kind of similar, as in passengers connecting with international flights. 3. To make a successful hit, shot, or throw, as in connected for a home run. And of course that means the ball and the bat connected very, very well for a real good hit, a smasher, into the home run area. That's not a thing. Also is in connected on 60% of his shots. And that one is a quote from New York Times. Who knows who they were talking about? Number 4, to have or establish a rapport, as in tried to connect with the younger generation. As a self-proclaimed old person in my 40s, I do kind of try to connect, but I also don't try. It's like, I don't know. You're never going to be able to fully connect with the younger people because they're always going to be younger and hipper and cooler than you. And that's just that. It's just hard. And we're going to move on. Number 5, to establish a communications connection, as in connect to the internet. We are always connected to the internet. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the next episode, I think. Okay, now we are on transitive. There's only a couple. 1, to join or fasten together, usually by something intervening. 2, to place or establish in relationship. We have to connect in our relationship. A synonym for everything is the word join. Connectable is an adjective, and that can be spelled A-B-L-E or I-B-L-E. Connector is a noun, and that can be spelled with an E-R or an O-R. There's a phrase, one phrase, connect the dots. And this is to link together logically related elements in order to draw a conclusion, as in trying to connect the dots in the investigation. There's so many visuals and thoughts that go through my brain when I hear that phrase. I mean, there's that wonderful meme from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia of Charlie with all the stuff on the walls, which is, of course, is a spoof of things like that you see in movies and TV shows all the time. You're trying to connect the dots. And then, of course, there's from Pee-wee's Playhouse, connect the dots, la, 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 la. Oh, good times. Good times. Connect the dots. I mean, that was literally like, that's a child's game, connect the dots. Oh, I've heard of people with tattoos that's literally, it's the connect the dots game, and then they have a marker, like a non-permanent marker, and somebody can draw on their skin to connect the dots. That's a fun game. Drawn on your friends or strangers. Okay, so let's look at the etymology for connect, from Latin connectere, which is from com plus nectere, which means to bind, binding, joining, connecting, putting things together. That was that. Okay, so the words today were conk, 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 conquer, conmoto, con, connate, connatural, and connect. Well, all of these conk words were great. I don't remember what I picked in the last one, because I just can't remember. But do I want to look ahead a little bit? Do I want to we'll pick connect as the word of the episode. It's it's good to connect with people emotionally, physically if you want to do that. Connecting flights, those are always fun. Trying to get your connecting flight. How do we can sing a song about that. I'm flying through the air, going to Dallas. I got a real short time to connect to my next flight. This is terrible. This is so bad. I had higher hopes for this song, but it just went downhill. We can do something else maybe. Should we try to do something else? I hate it when I don't have time to connect my flight and I gotta run through the airport 10 miles. All right, that was good enough. Let us talk about the holidays for today on this day that this episode is airing, which is December 19th, and that's not going to make sense to any of you in the future. So in Goa, India, it is Goa Liberation Day. In Anguilla, it is National Heroes and Heroines Day. Fourth Sunday of Advent, if you're into that thing. In the Ukraine, it is St. Nicholas Day. Fun holidays. Holly Day. Holly Day. It's a plant. Look for an evergreen day. National Emo Day. National Hard Candy Day. National Oatmeal Muffin Day. There's not a lot going on today. Anything else we missed? No, I think that was it. We got them all. Go have we won't do that. Okay, thank you very much for listening to this episode, and go tell the people, go watch it on YouTube, and subscribe if you want to see other random videos from me, and mostly about my life, because I guess that's what I do. Thank you. Until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. This is me. I am Spencer. I am your host. I am reading this book, this dictionary big book, and this podcast ends up being just my thoughts on it and the world through the book in order. I get to go through the world and my brain in alphabetical order. How appropriate is this for me? If you know me, that's incredibly appropriate. Okay, so the first word in this episode is connected. C-O-N-N-E-C-T-E-D. Connected. Adjective from 1712. 1. Joined or linked together. 2. Having the parts or elements logically linked together, as in presented a thoroughly connected view of the problem. 3. Related by blood or marriage. We are all connected. Every single human I can almost guarantee is connected by blood if you go back far enough. Also, all the other living things. We all come from, probably one living organism at some point, all those billions of years ago. So you are all my cousins. Okay, 4. Having social, professional, or commercial relationships, as in a well-connected lawyer. I like to have good connections. Life, business, whatever your thing is, your hobby, your job, you got to be connected. I think it's very good to network and be well connected. Okay, number 5 is talking about a set. What does that mean? It means having the property that any two of its points can be joined by a line completely contained in the set. Also, incapable of being separated into 2 or more closed disjoint subsets. So this must be about a set in math, a set of numbers, I guess, having the property that any 2 of its points can be joined, but there's points and lines, so that's not numbers. I don't know. Connectedly is an adverb. Connectedness is a noun. No etymology. There was that recent movie that came out, which is the Mitchells versus the Machines. Is that what it was called? It was originally supposed to be called Connected, I think. And I'm not 100% sure on why they changed the name. I never really looked into that. It could be, I'm not sure. Maybe they thought it was too vague. I really liked that name, actually. I feel like the filmmakers preferred that name, and they had to do it either for legal reasons or whatever. But I think that name, it evokes so much. There's so much to it. There's so much meaning behind that one word in relation to that movie, and I really appreciated that. Anyway, go watch that movie. So next is connecting rod. 2 words, noun from 1839. A rod that transmits motion between a reciprocating part of a machine, as a piston, and a rotating part, as a crankshaft. This is stuff in a car, I think. Next is connection. Connection. Noun. Oh, I'm not doing my sound effects. I'm so sorry. I have to do 2 sound effects to catch up. Doot. That was one, and here's the second one. Boop, 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 boop. Again, these are way too similar. I need to do something different. Okay, connection. Noun, 14th century, number 1. There's a bunch of definitions. The act of connecting. The state of being connected. As 1a, causal or logical relation or sequence, as in the connection between 2 ideas. I love it when I connect 2 things in my brain that maybe shouldn't be connected or hard to find a connection. That's always fun. 1b, 1b1, contextual relation or association, as in this connection, the world has a different meaning. In this connection, the word has a different meaning. Well, this seems like it should be a quote, and it's not a quote. It's not saying that it's a quote from anybody, so that seems like a very odd example. Contextual relation or association. In this connection, the word has a different meaning. Okay, 1b2, relationship in fact, as in wanted in connection with a robbery. If you were wanted in connection with a robbery, maybe you were the driver, maybe you helped the robbers in some way, and you have a relationship in fact. It is a fact that you have a relationship. Okay, 1c, a relation of personal intimacy, as of family ties. We can sing the song of Family Ties, but I can't remember how it goes. I'll probably sing the wrong song. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't know. Okay, 1d, synonyms are coherence and continuity. 2a, something that connects. Synonym is link, as in a loose connection in the wiring. You gotta fix the loose connection. Just put it in there. 2b, A means of communication or transport, as in a telephone connection. I hate it when people have a bad telephone connection because then I can't hear them so good. Number 3, a person connected with another, especially by marriage, kinship, or common interest, as in has powerful connections. I have built many connections over the last handful of years by digging deep into communities that I'm interested in. This is partly because of the internet and social media, and it's also because of the podcast world. I am part of a variety of different groups, and I have connected with very cool people, and I hope that you are doing the same thing. If you want, connect with whoever you want. Okay, where are we? Number 4, a political, social, professional, or commercial interest. No, relationship. Oh man, my brain did something there. A political, social, professional, or commercial relationship. As, for A, the synonyms position and job. For B, an arrangement to execute orders or advance interests of another. As in a firm's foreign connection. It's like a firm, a business. They have connections in other countries. For C, a source of contraband. And the example would be illegal drugs. A source of so your connection to get illegal drugs would be your connection. Number 5, a set of persons associated together. As 5A, synonym is denomination. And 5B, the synonym is clan, C-L-A-N. Connectional is an adjective, and that's good for that. Doo-doop, doo-doop. Man, okay, next word, connectionism. Noun from 1987, a school of cognitive science that holds the human mental processes, as learning, can be explained by the computational modeling of neural nets which are thought to simulate the actions of interconnected neurons in the brain. Okay, not sure what I just read there. I may read it again, but this does sound fascinating. So it is a school of cognitive science. So we're studying thoughts and the brain, cognition. It holds that it says that the human mental processes, like learning, can be explained by the computational modeling of neural nets, which are thought to simulate the actions of interconnected neurons in the brain. So basically, you can study the mental processes like learning by looking at the how the neurons work in the brain and where they're working and what's going on. So if you map the electricity in the brain, you can learn more about how we do mental things. I think that is what that is saying. If you are a connectionist, which is a noun, let me know if I got that right. Okay, next is a sound effect. What do I have to do? We'll do a thunder. No, that's bad. Lightning. Crash. Boom. Sound effect time. Maybe I'm thinking too much about that, and I just need to do something short and sweet and simple. So, connective. First form, adjective from circa 1600. No, that's a 6. 1660. Serving to connect. Connectively is an adverb. Do-do-do-do. I don't know, that's just the easiest one. Second form of connective, noun from 1751. So we have just a main definition and then A and B. So the main definition is something that connects. So the word is connective. It is something that connects. As a linguistic form that connects words or word groups. And then B, a logical term as, so there are some examples of a word that could be a logical term. They are the words or, if, then, and, not. Again, those were or, if, then, which I think is 2 words with a hyphen, yes, the word and the word not. So let's start this one over. A logical term, one of those words, or a symbol for it, or a symbol for it, that relates prepositions in such a way that the truth or falsity of the resulting statement is determined by the truth or falsity of the components. Yeah, it's a connective thing to connect things, other things. Truths, falsities, stuff like that. Do. Next word is connective tissue, 2 words, noun from 1846. It's one long definition. A tissue of mesodermal origin that consists of various cells as fibroblasts and macrophages, and interlacing protein fibers, as of collagen, embedded in a chiefly carbohydrate ground substance that supports, ensheaths, and binds together other tissues, and that includes loose and dense forms, as adipose tissue, tendons, ligaments, and aponeuroses, and specialized forms, as cartilage and bone. I hope that made enough sense to you. It's very important stuff, this connective tissue. Wow. Next word is connectivity, noun from 1893. The quality, state, or capability of being connective or connected, as in connectivity of a surface, especially the ability to connect to or communicate with another computer or computer system. Computers talking together, making plans without us humans. Next is connect the dots, 3 words with hyphens, adjective from 1981, done or proceeding in a series of simple and usually predictable steps, as in a movie with a connect the dots plot. Connect the dots plot. You got to connect the plots. My brain doesn't know how to make new sound effects. Next word is Connemara or Connemara, capital Connemara. Connemara. It is a noun from circa 1952, any of a breed of hardy, rugged ponies developed in Ireland. And this is from Connemara, Ireland. It is probably either a town or a county, I'm not sure, but maybe we need to post a picture of a Connemara pony. I have not posted a lot of pictures recently at the time of recording because so many of the words were not really visual in any good way. They were concepts and things. So hopefully we'll get back into posting more pictures. Next word, last word. It is connection, spelled Connexion. It is the chiefly British variation of the word connection, spelled the way that we are mostly familiar with it. The British spell that word with an X. Interesting. If you would like to record a sound effect with your mouth, let's say with your mouth, not any other ways. I think that this will be the most fun way. If you want your sound effect played on this podcast, record with your mouth a short sound effect, and then in one whole episode, I will put that sound effect in between each of the words. And you get one episode. I think we'll do that. You can email it to me, dictionarypod@gmail.com, and that'll be fun, I think. Or you can put it in a voicemail. Just make sure there's some good space on either side of the sound effect at the beginning and the end. And the phone number is in the show notes. Call me up. Okay, I think I have to reread the words now and then sing a song about one of them. Connected, connecting rod, connection, connectionism, connective, connective tissue, connectivity, connect the dots, Connemara, and connection. I am going to pick connective tissue as the word of the episode. I need connective tissue in my body to hold all the muscles and bones and cartilage and tendons together. Connective tissue, I love you. You're holding my body together and you're so great. All right, let's read the holidays for today. In Réunion, French Guyana, it is Abolition of Slavery Day. Yay for that. Myanmar has Boong Kwa Day, and I'm sure I pronounced that terribly, so apologies for that. Okay, it is International Human Solidarity Day. Let's have solidarity with all the humans. That is what I'm striving for. Let's all be together and respect our differences and celebrate diversity, but be one human race. Because the aliens are going to come and try and kill us all. No, I actually doubt that. Well, sort of. In Macau, it is Macau Special Administrative Region Establishment Day. Okay, anything else? We said that, and we said that. And let's look at the fun holidays. It is Cathode Ray Tube Day. Cathode ray, it's showing a picture of old monitors and stuff. Cathode Ray Tube Day. It is Dot Your I's Day. So if you're writing the letter I, you should dot it. If you don't, Games Day. Go play games. Go Caroling Day. Can you make a caroling into a game? Maybe you can go 2 different teams of carolers and go to see how much tips you can get, see if you beat the other team, see how many houses you can get to, see how many doors get slammed in your face because not everybody likes, I don't know, just turn it into a game maybe. Mud Day, and it is MUDD. Looks like it's something related to doctors or something. National Sangria Day. This seems more like a summer drink than a winter drink, unless it's National Sangria Day in the Southern Hemisphere. It is Sacagawea Day, spelled a handful of ways. We have Sacagawea on the dollar coin, I think is very good. And any other holidays that we missed? Nope. That's it. All right, thank you very much for listening. And until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. It is the podcast where I read the stuff in this book. Hello, I am Spencer. Spencer. I'm the one who is reading this book, and I hope you are enjoying it. All right, let's read the first word in this episode, which is conning tower. CONNING. Second word, tower. TOWER. It is a noun from 1886. A raised structure on the deck of a submarine used especially formerly for navigation and attack direction. Well, what do they use it for now? Is it just decorative? Of course, I don't know my submarine stuff, so I had no idea that this thing had a name. But yeah, I believe this is the thing in the submarine that sticks out on the top. You know what a submarine looks like. We'll post a picture. Yeah. I want to be in a submarine, and I want to use one of the scopes, the telescopy thing that, has mirrors in it so you can see what's going on outside. Okay. Ding dong. Next is conniption. Noun from 1833, a fit of rage, hysteria, or alarm, as in went into conniptions. It's a very vague definition. Fit of rage, hysteria, or alarm. The origin is unknown. I am fascinated by that. How did it come to be? Okay, next we have connivance. CONNIVANCE. Noun from, I forgot to do my sound effect. Ding dong, connivance. All that stuff that I just said. Noun from 1593, the act of conniving, especially knowledge of and active or passive consent to wrongdoing. Yeah, that's what this has to do. We will talk about the word connive. That's the next word. Conniving. If you're acting in a conniving way, you are doing some connivance. Okay, connive. Ding dong. We'll just have that be the sound effect for this episode. Maybe I'll just pick one sound effect per episode. And I hope that someday you will be sending me one, although you probably won't hear it for a long time because I'm probably I'm going to be a month ahead by the time you send me anything. Okay. Connive. It is a verb from 1601. I think it is just intransitive. Number 1, to pretend ignorance of or fail to take action against something one ought to oppose. I feel like I need to reread that. To pretend ignorance of or fail to take action against something one ought to oppose. So you should oppose it, but you don't oppose it, I guess. As in, the government connived in the rebels' military buildup. 2a, to be indulgent or in secret sympathy, and the synonym is wink. Wink, wink. We have a secret. We are conniving. 2b, to cooperate secretly or have a secret understanding. I do feel like this word, though, has a negative connotation usually, although according to this one, it doesn't necessarily have to be negative, like we were talking about wrongdoing. But yeah, I guess you can still connive and be secretive, and it doesn't have to be bad, quote unquote bad. Number 3, synonyms are conspire and intrigue. As in, accused his opponents of conniving to defeat the proposal. Conniver is a noun. That is the one who is doing the conniving. Let's see, this is from the Latin conevere, which means to close the eyes. Aha, see, yes, that's very interesting. That's what you're doing. If you know that there's something wrong or you're trying to be secret, you are closing your eyes to the truth or whatever it is. Let's see. This from com plus nevere or nevere, which is akin to nictare, which means to wink. So yeah, closing the eyes, winking. There's two things going on there. The close the eyes of I'm being ignorant to the thing, or I'm closing myself off to the truth or whatever. But then to wink, that's a whole other thing. It's a secret. It's a knowledge. Oh, I'm showing you that I know something. There's a lot going on with this word. Okay, next is connoisseur, or just connoisseur. Connoisseur. It is a French word, so it is spelled a little bit different than maybe what some people would think, so I shall spell it. Connoisseur. Connoisseur. Noun from 1714. Ding dong. I forgot my sound effect. I'll get this eventually. It takes some time to make it a habit. Number 1, synonym is expert, especially one who understands the details, technique, or principles of an art and is competent to act as a critical judge. It's just an expert. Number 2, one who enjoys with discrimination and appreciation of subtleties, as in a connoisseur of fine wines. I am not a connoisseur of fine wines. I enjoy them to an extent. It's not my first choice for taste purposes. But I do appreciate especially the science and all the stuff that's going on with wine specifically. I don't know if I'm a connoisseur of anything. I think that's the thing about me, is that I am not and probably will never be an expert on anything. I enjoy things, I'm fans of things, but I would never call myself a connoisseur, I think. Connoisseurship. Connoisseurship, that is a noun. Yes, French, from Old French, connos. How do you say this word? Conostra. That means to know, and I'm sure I mispronounced it. From Latin, cognoscere, and there's more at the word cognition. So yes, it's all about knowing. If you know a thing, you are an expert. Did I have something else to say about that? I don't think so. Okay. Ding dong. Next word. By the way, if you don't like this whole sound effect thing, that's okay. Let me know. Tell me your honest opinion. I think some people might appreciate a bit of an audio designation between words. I think it will help. Okay, next word, connotation. Connotation, noun from 1532, 1a, the suggesting of a meaning by a word apart from the thing it explicitly names or describes. Okay, let's try it again. The suggesting of a meaning by a word apart from the thing it explicitly names or describes. So there's a word and it explicitly describes something, but it also suggests another meaning beneath it all. connotation. 1b, something suggested by a word or thing. Synonym is implication. Yeah, I've used this word a lot, actually, throughout this podcast and my life. Connote is a word that we're coming up to as well. There's a word, and it has so much meaning behind it. It can denote a meaning, a connote meaning, a meaning. Those are two similar but different words. So, we all have biases or thoughts based on words. So yes, they all hold a connotation of some kind, an implication, whatever it is. Oh, there is an example for that one. The connotations of comfort that surrounded that old chair. Maybe it's very nostalgic. Number 2, the signification of something, as in that abuse of logic which consists in moving counters about as if they were known entities with a fixed connotation. Of course, that is a quote from W.R. Inge, I-N-G-E. Should we reread that quote for fun? It's so fun. That abuse of logic which consists in moving counters about as if they were known entities with a fixed connotation. Number 3, an essential property or group of properties of a thing named by a term in logic. Compare to denotation. So yeah, as I said before, denote and connote they're similar but different depending on the context, I think, or whatever. We'll learn about more in the D's. Connotational is an adjective, no etymology. Ding dong, next word, connotative or connotative. Either one is fine. Adjective from 1614, 1, connoting or tending to connote. 2, relating to connotation. And connotatively is an adverb. Here we go with connote. Ding dong, time for this next word. Connote. Verb from 1665, I think it is just transitive. 1, to be associated with or inseparable from as a consequence or concomitant. That was hard for my brain to get. As in the example, the remorse so often connoted by guilt. 2a, to convey in addition to exact explicit meaning, as in all the misery that poverty connotes. To convey in addition to exact explicit meaning. So so there is the explicit meaning of a word like poverty, but then it conveys something else in addition to that. In this case, in this example, misery could also be conveyed as well as just, being poor. 2b, to imply as a logical connotation. This is from Latin connotare, which is from com plus notare, which means to note. Next word, connubial. C-O-N-N-U-B-I-A-L. Adjective. Oh, I forgot the ding dong. Ding dong. You dummy. Ding dong. Dum dum. Okay. Connubial, adjective from circa 1656, of or relating to the married state. Synonym is conjugal. And we had that 5 episodes ago, I think, with Emily. Emily Winter was the guest on that episode, which I literally just recorded right before recording this one, just for scheduling purposes. That's how it happened. So yes, connubial, conjugal, related to being married. As in the example, connubial relations. Connubialism is a noun. Connubiality, that is a noun, and connubially is an adverb. And this is from, the Latin connubium, which means marriage, from com plus nubere, which means to marry, and there's more at the word nuptial. Yes, it's all the words are in there. Ding dong, ding dong. Okay, next word is conodont or conodont. conodont. This is a noun from 1859. A Paleozoic tooth-like fossil that is probably the remains of an extinct eel-like marine animal that may be an invertebrate or primitive vertebrate. Also, the animal from which conodonts are derived. So there are current conodonts and old conodonts? We're going to have to post a picture of this thing. Maybe we'll find the fossil. Maybe we'll find the real thing. I'm not sure. But I want to see it. It's going to look like an eel. It is a conodont. This is from Greek konos, which means cone plus odont. So it looks like a cone, I guess. Ding, dong, dim. I will tell a brief little story since I'm saying the word ding dong in this whole episode. When I was a kid, I don't remember if it was me or my cousin, or maybe we were together. We were trying to get into my parents' house when we were little, and the door was locked, or we couldn't open it or something like that. And my dad's name is Jim, and we were young and couldn't speak great, and we said, "Ding dong, dim, let me in. Ding dong, dim." I think it was me, but it could also have been my cousin. I don't know. Anyway, whenever I hear ding dong, that's what I think of. Okay, ding dong, ding dong. Last word, conoid. C-O-N-O-I-D, or it could be conoidal, adjective from 1570, shaped like or nearly like a cone, as in conoidal or conoid shells, also conoid pottery. I like conoidal, I think. Conoidal pottery. Looks like a cone. Conoid is also a noun. Okay, what am I going to pick as the word of the episode? But first I have to read them. Conning tower, conniption, connivance, connive, connoisseur, connotation, connotative, connote, connubial, conodont, conoid. That's it. There was actually a few of these that I liked, so I kind of wish I could save them for other episodes where I can't pick one. Because I like, what do I like? I like connoisseur. I like connote or connotation. Why? Not sure. Also conning tower is great. It's the thing sticking out of the submarine, but I'm not going to pick that one. Conniption, that's a fun one as well. Ooh, conniption. But the connote, that's, there's a lot of weight behind that word. It connotes a lot. The word connotes. There's a lot of connotation with the word connote. Let's see. Are we going to see... I'm looking ahead. I don't know. Why do you put so much thought into this? You just pick something and it doesn't matter. Let's see. Well, for musical purposes, maybe it'll be fun and interesting to pick conniption as the word of the episode. I'm having a conniption fit. I'm having a fit where I'm conniptioning. Fit, conniption, fit. Yep. Okay, holiday time. I think I'm on the right page. Today is December 21st when this is airing, and I hope you are listening to this on that day or another day in the future. In the Philippines, it is Armed Forces Day. It is the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere, the summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. So there's a lot of things going on with that. Let's see. Some modern American liberal Protestant groups are celebrating Blue Christmas for the winter solstice. In Asia has the Dongji Festival. In Theravada Buddhism, it's Sangamita Day. These are still related to the winter solstice. The neo-pagan wheel of the year has the Yule in the northern hemisphere. Ancient Latvia has Ziemasvetki. Those are all related to the winter solstice or the summer solstice, depending on where they are. In Plymouth, Massachusetts, it's Forefathers Day. In Sao Tome and Principe, it is Sao Tome Day. In the Saiva Siddhanta Church, it is the first day of Pancha Ganapati. Okay, let's check this page quite quick. Let's see. Although a whole lots of things related to the solstice, winter beginning, all those fun things. It's the shortest day of the year, so enjoy that. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, enjoy that the days will get longer. Maybe you'll like the shortest day of the year. If you do, maybe you should go move somewhere in the north or the south. It is Anne and Samantha Day. Not sure what that is. Crossword puzzle day. Maybe I'll do a crossword. Don't make your bed day. Okay, fine. Forefathers Day. We talked about that. Humbug Day. Don't be a Scrooge Day. Same thing. Say humbug, but don't be a Scrooge? I'm not sure. International Dalek Remembrance Day. So is that the Dalek from Doctor Who? I need to watch that show. How did this not get made? Just did an episode. They talked about a Doctor Who thing that didn't get made. And they go into the whole history of Doctor Who. National Coquito Day. Is this that frog? Is that the name of that frog? Coquito? I don't know if that's what it was called. Okay, what else? National Flashlight Day. So make sure you got some flashlights with batteries in case the power goes out. National French Fried Shrimp Day. National Hamburger Day. National Homeless Persons Memorial Day. There are so many homeless people around the world, and if they die, most people aren't aware of it. So it's good to have a memorial day for them. National Kiwi Fruit Day. National Look at the Bright Side Day. Always look at the bright side of life. National Short Story Day. Phileas Fogg Win a Wager Day. Something about hot air balloons. Ribbon Candy Day, whatever that is. Short Girl Appreciation Day. Is there a Tall Girl Appreciation Day? The first day of winter. Yule celebrate this. Let's see, anything else? National Maine Day. That's the state, Maine, here in the States. What else? We read all of those. Oh, coquito is a drink. Oh, it looks tasty. What is in it? I don't want an ad. It is a traditional Puerto Rican holiday drink which embodies the island's warm and open spirit. Let's see. Often compared to eggnog, it is enjoyed as an aperitif, after-dinner drink, or given as a gift and shared among friends and family. While nobody knows the exact origins of the drink, and there is no canonical recipe, all versions call for milk, cream of coconut, and Puerto Rican rum. So it's similar to eggnog, but different. But you gotta have some milk type of thing in there, cream of coconut, and rum. Okay, that's it. We did it all. I think I'm good. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Adios. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. What adventure are we going to go on today? I don't know. Let's find out. If you would be so kind as to rate and review this podcast, you know the stuff, you know the drill. Please go write a review and click the 5 stars, and that will make me happy. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. The information is in the show notes, but it's mostly at dictionarypod. Sometimes I post some pictures, sometimes I don't. You can call my Google Voice number and leave a voicemail if you want to say anything, give me some comments, corrections, whatever it is. If you want to record a short little theme song or a sound effect, short. You can send that over through the voicemail or send me a digital file through the email system. All right, I think that's probably good. Last section of page 264. First word is conquer. Conquer. I will eventually conquer this book. It is a verb from the 14th century starting with transitive. 1. To gain or acquire by force of arms. And the synonym is subjugate. As in, conquer territory. I think we might have a little bit more to talk about this later. But basically, it's very, very selfish to go subjugate and conquer territories and take over areas. Cause why? Cause you just want to own everything? Okay, number 2, to overcome by force of arms. Synonym is vanquish, as in conquered the enemy. Why are they the enemy? Why do they have to be the enemy? Number 3, to gain mastery over or win by overcoming obstacles or opposition, as in conquered the mountain. I've never done that. I'm thinking back to, I just recorded yesterday with Emily for an episode like 4 days ago or so, and she had a Rubik's Cube. I have never conquered a Rubik's Cube. Maybe before I die, I shall conquer a Rubik's Cube. Listen, I set my bar very, very low. Number 4, to overcome by mental or moral power. Synonym is surmount, as in conquered her fear. That is a really good, that's a good one. Conquer your fear. We have one intransitive definition, to be victorious. Conqueror, with an O-R, that is a noun. They conquer territory, conquer enemy, conquer mountain, conquer fear. Okay, etymology, it's a Middle English word, and it means to acquire or conquer. From, let's see, anything else interesting? Latin, conquirere. Man, that's a weird word to say. Did people just say that on the street? Conquirere. That means to search for or collect. From quaerere, which means to ask or search. Question, right? Question, quaerere, questioning, asking. Okay, we have synonym information for conquer. So, conquer, vanquish, defeat, subdue, reduce, overcome, and overthrow mean to get the better of by force or strategy. Conquer implies gaining mastery of, as in Caesar conquered Gaul. Gaul. Vanquish implies a complete overpowering, as in vanquished the enemy and ended the war. Defeat does not imply the finality of or completeness, does not imply the finality or completeness of vanquish, which it otherwise equals, as in the Confederates defeated the Union forces at Manassas. Subdue implies a defeating and suppression, as in subdued the native tribes after years of fighting. Well, they're only fighting you back because you're trying to conquer them and take over their land. Reduce implies a forcing of capitulate or surrender, as in the city was reduced after a month-long siege. That's pretty sad. Overcome suggests getting the better of with difficulty or after hard struggle, as in overcame a host of bureaucratic roadblocks. And overthrow stresses the bringing down or destruction of existing power, as in violently overthrow the old regime. I think before I get to the end of this book, I am almost 100% going to need bifocals and maybe even a magnifying glass, because this text is not particularly large, and I am not getting younger. Yeah, okay. What should be the sound effect for today between the words? Yesterday was ding dong. What should it be today? The brain does not want to work when it is under such stress to figure something out. We'll just go bleep bloop, because we're a robot today. Okay, bleep bloop. Conquest is next. It is a noun from the 14th century. 1. The act or process of conquering. 2a. Something conquered, especially territory appropriated in war. 2b. A person whose favor or hand has been won. We're going on a conquest. No, it's just quest. I want to go on a quest. Bleep bloop. Next word is Conkian. Conkian. Conquistan, noun from circa 1911. Oh, it's a card game for two. A card game for two. Played with 40 cards from which all games of Rummy developed. Whoa. I like Rummy. That's a 52 card deck. So is this a different kind of deck, or do they take out cards from the normal 52 card deck and only play with 40? Why? This is Mexican Spanish conquian, and there's more at the word cooncan. What is this word? Cooncan? Cooncan. Cooncan. Okay. So yeah, I've never heard of this card game. I don't play cards anymore really, but I have played a few, including Rummy, Gin Rummy, Rummy 500. So maybe this will be a good card game to learn, although I probably never will. You should go learn it. Tell me how it is. Okay, bleep bloop. Next word is conquistador. You could say conquistador, because that's how it's spelled, but that is more an American way to say it, because a lot of Americans don't know Spanish. Conquistador, that's how it's pronounced. Conquistadores would be plural. Or you could just say conquistadors, that's fine too. So, it is a noun from 1830, one that conquers, specifically a leader in the Spanish conquest of America and especially of Mexico and Peru in the 16th century. Maybe we should post a picture of one of these conquistadores because I think that they, in my mind, I'm thinking they had some interesting garb, some interesting clothes, and maybe hats or something. Feel like I have that in my memory. So we'll maybe post a picture of that. Bleep bloop. Next word, cons. C-O-N-S. This is an abbreviation for at least 10 or 11 things. Number 1, consecrated. 2, conservative. 3, consigned or consignment. 4, consolidated. 5, consonant. 6, constable. 7, constitution. 8, construction. 9, consul, C-O-N-S-U-L. And 10, consulting. Bleep bloop. Next word is consanguine. Consanguine. It is spelled C-O-N-S-A-N-G-U-I-N-E. It is an adjective from 1610, and the synonym is, it's actually our next word, consanguineous. This is an amazing word, and I wish I knew how to say it backwards, because that is a good one. I will have to put this on the list of words to figure out backwards. By the way, if you are curious about learning how to speak backwards, I mentioned this a while ago. I have a YouTube short series of videos. I think there's only 9 or 10 right now, where I teach you how to say some words backwards or phrases. And, I've had to take a break because life got busy, but I hope to get back into that someday. In fact, I recorded one for Halloween creepy month, October. I was going to do 4. I recorded one and never posted it. It's still waiting to be edited and posted. And this is, as I'm recording this, almost Thanksgiving. So I'm a bad content creator. Okay, so bleep bloop, time for consanguineous. It is an adjective from 1601, of the same blood or origin, specifically descended from the same ancestor. So all of us, we are consanguineous. Hello to my consanguineous people. Consanguineously is an adverb. Oh man, this is good. This is from Latin. Let's see. How do we want to short? Sanguis, or words other in that form that means blood. Sanguis, sanguine, words that have that word in there are probably related to blood. Like this one, bleep bloop, consanguinity, noun from the 14th century. 1, the quality or state of being consanguineous. And number 2, a close relation or connection. Bleep bloop, we are on our last word. It's a good one too. It's conscience. It is spelled con-science. C-O-N-S-C-I-E-N-C-E. Conscience. Okay, it is a noun. No, you pronounce it conscience. Conscience. There's an N at the end there. Conscience. I know a lot of people have trouble with this word. Okay, noun from the 13th century. 1A. The sense or consciousness of the moral goodness or blameworthiness of one's own conduct, intentions, or character together with a feeling of obligation to do right or be good. I mean, we can just end everything right there, I think. 1B, a faculty, power, or principle enjoining good acts. Good acts. 1C, the part of the superego in psychoanalysis that transmits commands and admonitions to the ego. It's a little bit over my head, I think. Number 2 is archaic. Synonym is just consciousness. Yeah, the way we think of conscience now is different from just consciousness, which, of course, we're going to talk about in tomorrow's episode. Number 3, conformity to the dictates of the conscience. Conformity to is it dictates or dictates? Okay, scratch that. Conformity to the dictates of the conscience. The conscience dictates things to be done, and then conforming to that is also called the conscience. The synonym for that one is consciousness. Now it's going over to the second line, so it's very hard to read. Conscientious. I hate that it goes on to the other line. Conscientiousness? Doesn't matter. Number 4, sensitive regard for fairness or justice. Synonym is scruple. Conscienceless. See, I'm now combining things. Yes, I think that synonym in number 3 was conscientiousness. But this now new word, conscienceless, is an adjective, something some people are, and that's sad, but that's just the way they are. All in conscience or in conscience means in all fairness. Etymology. Anything interesting there better be. It is from the Latin verb conscire, which means to be conscious or be... Man, this word looks so weird when you look at the letters. That means to be conscious or be conscious of guilt. See, the second line threw me off. Be conscious of guilt, which is from com plus scire, which means to know. And there's more at the word science. Science, yay, science. So knowing guilt, all this stuff. Knowing when you have done something, when you are guilty of something, you have done something bad. I guess that's the connection. Your conscience tells you what to do, what is right and wrong. I mean, it's a very complicated thing. Yeah. Pinocchio has the grasshopper. Jimmy Crackcorn, Jimmy the grasshopper, Jimmy, what's his name? My old brain is failing me now. Okay, so the words in this episode were conquer, conquest, conchian, conquistador, cons, consanguine, consanguineous, consanguinity, and conscience. I think it's interesting. The first and last words are kind of opposite in certain ways. If you really think about it, you don't have to think about it that hard. Conquer, conscience. Conquer in many ways is all about just taking over other people. And I feel like, if maybe you had a conscience, then maybe you wouldn't go conquering all the people out there. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to pick conscience as the word of the episode because we all need to listen to our conscience. It's a super sweet song about listening to your conscience. Boop, boop. All right, let's talk about the holidays. It is the Dongji Festival. Doesn't say where. Maybe it's all over. In Vietnam, it is Armed Forces Day. In Indonesia, it is Mother's Day. In India, National Mathematics Day. In Cuba, Teacher's Day. Zimbabwe, Unity Day. This page says there is nothing, which clearly is not true. Fun holiday page. It is Abilities Day, and it shows a picture of people in wheelchairs playing basketball because they have different abilities from the rest of us. It is National Cookie Exchange Day, National Date Nut Bread Day. Wow, there's really not that much going on. People are probably like, well, Christmas is coming up. We're not going to put on too many holidays. And then the National Short Person Day. So be proud of your shortiness. And it is Forefathers Day. And that one, that definitely relates to our word conquer here, because that's kind of what they did. More than just kind of. They came over to this land and conquered the people and the land and said it was now theirs, and it just really sucks. I just don't like it. I don't like it. Sometimes we have to talk about these things. We do, and you have to listen to me because you are required for your assignment to listen to this podcast. Okay, we're going to end this episode. We have finished page 264, and I'm going to go record the next episode. Thank you very much for listening. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Oh, goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. This is Spencer, and I will be reading it to you. And it's going to be a while, so I hope you're in it for the long haul. I forgot to mention, I just recorded yesterday's episode. Yesterday, at the time of recording, we went and saw Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. And I'm not gonna lie, we both had some tears. Yeah, it was pretty great in a lot of ways. It's like, it's essentially the same story as the very first Ghostbusters, but I don't really care because it is so well done and there's so much heart and it is so much more serious, I think, in a lot of ways than the first one. But it's so funny too. I loved it. Okay, you all should go see it if you haven't already. The first word in this episode, oh man, I was supposed to think of a sound effect before I started. What am I going to pick? What should I do? Let's do that. Okay, the first word in this episode is conscience money. CONSCIENC. Next word, money. MONEY. Not entirely sure why I had to spell that, but I did. Conscience money. Noun from 1839. Money paid usually anonymously to relieve the conscience by restoring what has been wrongfully acquired. Ooh, this is a big one. So let's see. Something bad happened, and then somebody felt bad about it, and they gave money to, the person, the organization, whatever it was that was done wrong. But they didn't feel bad enough to give their name, or for whatever reason, they didn't want to give their name. So it's conscience money. There's probably been a lot of that paid. We'll never know who paid it. Wow. Next word is conscientious. So, this is the word I was having trouble with as the synonym in the last episode because it went over to the second line, and so the first line had CONSCIEN, and then the second line had TIOUSNESS. And this word is already confusing as it is. I'm not surprised to hear, or I would not be surprised to hear if people have a lot of trouble with this word. Conscientious. It is an adjective from 1576. 1. Governed by or conforming to the dictates of conscience. Synonym is scrupulous, as in a conscientious public servant. Number 2, synonyms are meticulous and careful, as in a conscientious listener. Another synonym for everything is upright. Conscientiously is an adverb, and conscientiousness is a noun. It's really just the idea, the act of, using your conscience. See, I even have trouble with this word. And I'm the best speaker in the world. Yeah, so it's you use your conscience, you listen to it, you are being conscientious. Okay. Next word is conscientious objection. And the next word is going to be very similar. It is two words, noun from 1775. Objection on moral or religious grounds. That's the end of that sentence, but then there's parentheses which say, as to service in the armed forces or to bearing arms. So you've got an objection for moral or religious reasons, an objection for being in the armed forces or having a gun or something like that. And of course, there's that recent movie, I think it was called Hacksaw Ridge, which was a true story about a guy who was, yes, our next word, conscientious objector. Noun from 1899, a person who refuses to serve in the armed forces or bear arms on moral or religious grounds. So yeah, it was a story about a guy, again, true story, who was, I believe, drafted, but he didn't want to be in the war, and so he never fought. Supposedly, if I'm remembering correctly, he never fought, he never shot his gun, and he helped a ton of people. He saved a bunch of people, when all the other people would not probably save them or didn't think they would be able to. And it's a pretty fascinating story. So yeah, go learn about that. Next word, conscionable. 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 It is an adjective from 1549, and the synonym is just conscientious. So now we say conscientious, but back in the day, many years ago, people would say conscionable. Either word is hard to say. Next word is conscious. First form, conscious. Adjective from 1592. It's a pretty good length. There's a bunch of definitions, and then the second form will also have a pretty good amount of definitions as well. So number one, for the first form of conscious, now I want it to be conscience, but that's not it. It's something else. 1. Perceiving, apprehending, or noticing with a degree of controlled thought or observation. As in, was conscious that someone was watching. Just being aware. Number 2 is archaic, sharing another's knowledge or awareness of an inward state or outward fact. I would like an example, but it's archaic, so we don't use it this way. Number 3, personally felt, as in conscious guilt. You are personally feeling the guilt. Number 4, capable of or marked by thought, will, design, or perception. 5, the synonym is self-conscious. That's 2 words with a hyphen. Number 6, having mental faculties undulled by sleep, faintness, or stupor. And the synonym is awake, as in was conscious during the surgery. I had a little bit of a, what do you call the stuff? When they put you under. Anyway, I was not put under all the way accidentally when I had my wisdom teeth taken out. So unfortunately, I was somewhat conscious during that surgery. And that is not a surgery you want to be conscious for. Number 7, done or acting with critical awareness, as in a conscious effort to be better, to do better. We're always trying to be better, to do better, I think. You got to be conscious about it. You can't do things if you're not conscious about the things that you want to do. 8a, likely to notice, consider, or appraise, as in a bargain-conscious shopper. They are always looking for a bargain. I'm not very good at this. I'm getting better. I'm try and get things on sale, save some money, but usually I'm just like, well, this is the thing that we buy, so I'm just going to buy it. But maybe I should start. I'm trying to be better about, trying to be conscious about being a bargain conscious shopper. 8B, being concerned or interested, as in weight conscious models. I don't like the fact that models have to be weight conscious in this culture that we live in. It's just be what they want to be. But I am very, very happy to see that we have for a while been seeing a lot more representation with models in, people from all over the world, different colors and looks and weights and everything. And so, we're getting better about that. Okay, 8C, marked by strong feelings or notions, as in a race-conscious society. If I didn't say this before, this word is a big word. It's a very big word. Clearly, it covers lots of things. Again, with all these other things, yes, be conscious of race and things that you say, and this, we could talk about that forever. We're not going to do that. We don't have time. A synonym for everything is the word aware. Consciously is an adverb. And I didn't mean to say that, we're not going to talk about this. Clearly, we just have to be conscious of everything. And in the moment, it's really hard to come up with the right words to say. So, I hope you cut me a little slack if I say something not perfect, because I am not perfect. This is from the Latin conscius, which is from the verb scire, which means to know. So it's all about knowing and being aware, knowing the stuff, being conscious of something, so many things. Second form of conscious, I think I picked a bad sound effect. I have a feeling that's going to really bother some people. I'll have to pick something nicer for the next episode. Okay, so second form of conscious, noun from 1919. Oh, this one's short. It's just the number 5 definition for consciousness. Consciousness, which is... That's our next word. I'm just having fun doing these dumb sound effects. Okay, so consciousness, this is the one that has a number of definitions. It is a noun from 1629. 1A, the quality or state of being aware, especially of something within oneself. Consciousness. Aware, what is within yourself? 1B, the state or fact of being conscious of an external object, state, or fact. 1C, synonym is awareness, especially concern for some social or political cause. What are you aware of? A new word is woke. Number 2, the state of being characterized by sensation, emotion, volition, and thought. And the synonym is mind, M-I-N-D. Number 3, the totality of conscious states of an individual. Whoa. Number 4, the normal state of conscious life, as in regained consciousness. I guess if you fainted, then you have to regain consciousness. And number 5, the upper level of mental life of which the person is aware as contrasted with unconscious processes. That is a thinker. Okay. Next word is consciousness raising. 2 words with a hyphen, noun from 1968. An increasing of concerned awareness, especially of some social or political issue. Yeah, I mean, definitely in the 60s, that was a time when there was a lot of talk about social and political issues of all different kinds. There was a big consciousness raising during that time. And I think it's still going. Okay. It's becoming a little bit of a guitar riff. Next is conscribe. It is a verb from 1613, just transitive. Number 1, synonyms are limit and circumscribe. As in, it's a quote, ill health, conscribed the force of his intentions. That is from the Times Literary Supplement. Ill health conscribed the force of his intentions. And number 2, the synonym is conscript. Wow. Conscript is actually our next word. First form, noun from 1799. A conscripted person, as a military recruit. I think I was about to say a military. A military recruit. This is from the Latin verb conscribere, which means to enroll or enlist, from scribere, which means to write, and there's more at the word scribe. So it went somehow from writing to enrolling and enlisting. Interesting. Wow. Second form of conscript. Oh, it's actually conscript. The emphasis for both of these is conscript. Okay, we'll try that again. Second form, adjective from 1812. 1. Enrolled into service by compulsion. Synonym is drafted. And number 2, made up of conscripted persons. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a military person, or as I sometimes like to say, military. And so I'm not aware of this conscript word in relation to being drafted and stuff like that. And where was the other place that we talked? Yes, conscientious objector. That would be somebody in the war who was a conscript, but they didn't want to be a conscript. Okay. Third form of conscript is actually pronounced conscript. Second syllable is emphasized. This is a transitive verb from 1813. It's just the verb form of what we've already talked about. It is to enroll into service by compulsion. Synonym is draft. Was the example was conscripted into the army. They have been written into the list of people who are in the army. And the word compulsion in there is a little bit odd. Normally, when I think of the word compulsion, I think of it was your own compulsion to do a thing. But obviously, in this case, that is not the case. It is the compulsion from somebody else. Next word is conscription, noun from 1800, compulsory enrollment of persons, especially for military service. Synonym is draft. I hope the draft never comes up again. Okay, so I think I will actually end this episode. I was going to do one more, but it's very much related to the next word, so I'm going to put them together. So the last word, which I already read, was conscription. CONSCRIPTION. So the words in this episode were conscience money, conscientious, conscientious objection, conscientious objector, conscionable, conscious, consciousness, consciousness raising, conscribe, conscript, conscript, and conscription. Well, I think I'm debating between conscious and consciousness. They're very similar but different. Maybe I'll just pick conscious as the word of the episode because it's a much more vague and all-encompassing word for the world of being conscious, and your consciousness, I think, is I'm just going to argue that that's part of that. I think meditation is a really good way to think about your consciousness, get to another level of consciousness, I don't know. There's so many things to say, and none of them are coming to my brain because I'm not being very conscious of what I'm trying to say. But anyway, I think it's good to play with your level of consciousness, and I think meditation is a good way to do that. There's other things too. I'll let you figure that out. Conscious. Conscious. Sing this song over and over. Maybe your conscience will change if you do that. I don't know where this is going. It was sort of like a mantra, but not really. All right, let's look at the holidays. Today is December 23rd when this is airing. In Sweden, it is birthday of the Queen Sylvia. South Sudan and regular Sudan have Children's Day. In the Ukraine, it is Day of All Level Operational Control Structure Servicemen. I think we'll save that one. In the U.S., this is a secular humanism group, I guess, and they have Human Light. That's the thing. Human Light, L-I-G-H-T, but it's all one word with a capital H, capital L. I wonder what that is. In Uttar Pradesh, India, it is Kisan Divas or Diwas. In Oaxaca City, Mexico, it is Night of the Radishes. That sounds fascinating. In Newfoundland and Labrador, it is Tibbs Eve. In Mousehole, Cornwall, it's Tom Bawcock's Eve. In Egypt, it is Victory Day. Man, I am really fascinated by some of those holidays. In Chile, it is Andacoyo Festival. All right, what are some fun holidays? National Pfeffernusse Day. What is a Pfeffernusse? It is spelled P-F-E-F-F-E-R-N-U-S-S-E, and there's an umlaut over the U. They look like little cookies or macaroons or something. National Regifting Day. National Roots Day. And it does show a picture of the tree, so it's probably tree roots. Let's check this page. National Christmas Movie Marathon Day. So if you want to do that, you can do that. It is also Festivus. And I was a bit of a Seinfeld watcher, so I'm aware of this. I don't know all the stuff, but let's see. And yeah, I mean, I think it is from Seinfeld. I believe, yes, the world was made aware of Festivus in Seinfeld. TV writer Dan O'Keefe's father, Daniel O'Keefe, found a reference to an obscure holiday and celebrated it in 1966. Wait, so was it an obscure holiday that they talked about? Wait, okay, let's keep on reading. At the time, he was doing research for his book, Stolen Lightning, which explored astrology, cults, and paranormal activity. He chose the date of December 23rd to celebrate it because it was the anniversary of his first date with his wife. Let's see. Well, there's too much to read right now, but go research Festivus for the rest of us. Yeah, I think it's just an excuse to not do all of the normal, typical holidays, which is funny because more people are now celebrating Festivus, which means that it is becoming one of the holidays that they were probably trying to get away from. Ponder that. This is the end of the episode. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome. That's a funny word. Welcome to this podcast called The Dictionary, hosted by me, Spencer. This is a fun thing for me to do. I just get to sit on my bed and read this book and talk about it to myself. And for some reason, that's fun. But eventually, I think I would like to, I sometimes have guests. I'm working on doing more of that so you can hear other points of view. And I would also like to do videos, maybe live streams eventually, or just videos. I don't know. It's just a whole other level of production, and I'm just not ready for that. Okay, the first word in this episode is consecrate. C-O-N-S-E-C-R-A-T-E. First form, adjective from the 14th century. Dedicated to a sacred purpose. Do you have anything that's sacred? You can dedicate it for just those sacred purposes, and you will have made it you have consecrated it. It is consecrated. Consecrate. Let's say the word again, because I have to do my sound effect. La la la. The second form of consecrate is a verb from the 14th century. I think it is just transitive. Number 1, to induct a person into a permanent office with a religious rite, especially to ordain to the office of bishop. 2a, to make or declare sacred, especially to devote can't say this word, irrevocably. Irrevocably? Yes. To make or declare sacred, especially to devote irrevocably to the worship of God by a solemn ceremony. 2b, to effect the liturgical transubstantiation of my throat just didn't work there. So to effect the liturgical transubstantiation of, and then in parentheses, the examples are Eucharistic bread and wine. 2c, to devote to a purpose with or as if with deep solemnity or dedication. 3, to make inviolable or venerable, as in principles consecrated by the weight of history. Why was this word filled with so many words that are hard to say? Irrevocably, transubstantiation, inviolable, venerable. A synonym for everything is devote. You can devote yourself or consecrate yourself. Okay. Consecrative, no, I think it would be consecrative. That is an adjective. Consecrator is a noun. That is when a meteor hits the earth and it creates a consecrator. Consecratory is an adjective. La 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 la. Next word is consecration, noun from the 14th century. 1, the act or ceremony of consecrating. 2, the state of being consecrated. 3 is capitalized, so it's official. The part of a communion rite in which the bread and wine are consecrated. That's it for that one. La la la. Next word, consecution. Consecution. Noun from 1651. The synonym is sequence. This is from the Latin word consequi, and that means to follow along, follow the leader. There's more at the word consequent. La 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 la. Next word is consecutive. Well, so these words are consecutive. They go in alphabetical order, and this is kind of meta because where this comes from, it means to follow along. Well, I mean that's the whole point of it, right? That's what the word is, to follow along. So consecutive is the next one that's following along in order. It's not that meta, except for the fact that they are in order. So consecutive is an adjective from 1611, following one after the other in order. Synonym is successive, as in served 4 consecutive terms in office, one after the other. Consecutively is an adverb. Consecutiveness is a noun. Every single entry in this dictionary, I am reading it to you consecutively. La 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 la. Next word, consensual. Oh, this is a big one. It is an adjective from 1754. 1, existing or made by mutual consent without an act of writing. Writing down on paper, as in a consensual contract. Mutual consent, and you don't have to write it down. You get that? You got that? Number 2, involving or based on mutual consent. I cannot emphasize that enough. As in consensual acts. Consensually is an adverb. The etymology isn't giving me much. We could talk about this for a long time, but can I just emphasize again? Mutual consent? How many times do we have to say this? I hope you kids are listening, and some of you adults too. Especially you adults, but especially you kids. Especially all of you. La 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 la. Next word is consensus. It is a noun from 1843. 1A, general agreement. Synonym is unanimity. Unanimity, as in the consensus of their opinion based on reports from the border. That is a quote from John Hersey. Would it be Hershey? There's no H. I think it's Hersey. 1B, the judgment arrived at by most of those concerned, as in, the consensus was to go ahead. What are they going ahead with? I don't know. Doesn't matter. But they all agreed to do it. Number 2, the consensus in my head is to also go ahead with this. Number 2, group solidarity in sentiment and belief. There is usage information. Let's read it. Okay. The phrase consensus of opinion, which is not actually redundant. Oh boy, there's some parentheses. The description of why it is not actually redundant, it says, see sense 1A. The sense that takes the phrase is slightly older. 1A for consensus was general agreement. Okay, so consensus of opinion is not redundant. It has been so often claimed to be a redundancy that many writers avoid it. You are safe in using consensus alone when it is clear you mean consensus of opinion, and most writers, in fact, do so. Well, that was wonderful. Thank you very much for that information. Consensus of opinion. I mean, I don't particularly agree that that is redundant, but I mean, I guess it's maybe not totally necessary to add in of opinion, but it's not totally redundant in my eyes. But that's just me. Okay, next word, la 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 la. First form of consent. First form of consent. It is a verb, intransitive verb from the 13th century. 1, to give assent or approval. Synonym is agree. You are giving your own approval. You are consenting, okay? As in, consent to be tested. Number 2 is archaic, to be in concord in opinion or sentiment. A synonym for everything is the word assent. Consenter is a noun. Consentingly is an adverb. Let's see, this is from the Latin verb consentire, which is from com plus sentire, which means to feel. And there's more at the word sense. So if you don't feel good about it, don't give your consent. And hopefully, I was trying to connect it to other things, but that's fine. I don't have to. Okay. La 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 la. Next word, consent. Second form, noun from the 14th century. 1, compliance in or approval of what is done or proposed by another. Synonym is acquiescence. As in, he shall have power by and with the advice and consent of the Senate to make treaties. That is in the U.S. Constitution. Number 2, agreement as to action or opinion, specifically voluntary agreement by a people to organize a civil society and give authority to the government. Okie dokie. La 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 la. By the way, if this is your first episode and you're curious why I am singing la 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 in between each word, it was recommended to me a handful of episodes ago that I start adding a sound effect in between the words, each entry, and to make it a little bit more clear that I am starting a new word. Maybe that was obvious to you. I'm trying to be a little bit creative with the sound effects, because I don't necessarily want to put them in when I'm editing. It's a lot of work, so I might as well just do it with my mouth in the moment, right? So, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Okay, la 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 la. Next word, consentaneous. consentaneous. It is spelled Consentaneous. Consentaneous. Adjective from 1575. 1. Expressing agreement. Synonym is suited. 2. Done or made by the consent of all. Consentaneously is an adverb. Expressing agreement. Done. Yep. Everybody is consenting. It's consentaneous. This is from the Latin verb consentire, which means to agree. We agree. Okay. La 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 la. Next word. Consent decree. Consent decree. 2 words. Noun from 1904. A judicial decree that sanctions a voluntary agreement between parties in dispute. And la 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 la, our last word, consequence. 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 It is a noun from the 14th century. 1. A conclusion derived through logic. Synonym is inference. Number 2, something produced by a cause or necessarily following from a set of conditions, as in the economic consequences of the war. There's always economic consequences, although I'm pretty sure I've heard that wartime, the economy goes up, right? I don't know war. I don't know economics things. 3a, importance with respect to power to produce an effect, as in a mistake of no consequence. 3b, social importance. 4, the appearance of importance, especially the synonym self-importance. Another synonym is the word importance. I'm emphasizing it very clearly so you can hear what I'm saying. Importance. A phrase, in consequence, means as a result. As a result, in consequence. All right. The words in this episode were consecrate, consecration, consecution, consecutive, consensual, consensus, consent, consentaneous, consent decree, and consequence. I am definitely going to pick either consent or consensual. I'm feeling like the word consent might be a little bit more overarching. It covers a little bit more ground, I think, than just consensual. As I said, consensual, this is a big one. Do I need to be explicit in my words? Maybe I should, just because why not? There is a thing out there called rape. And that is when it is, in general, some sexual stuff happening that is not consensual. Somebody says yes, somebody says no. The person who says yes takes over, and that is bad. They are not consenting to this act. And yes, we sometimes have to get very adult and serious and political on this podcast because that is just the way the world goes. So you have to ask for consent. Things have to be consensual. This obviously goes past the topic that I talked about. So please, just don't be mean. Consent. No, that's not how you say it. You don't tell somebody give consent. You have to respect it. This song is not a song, and we're just going to stop it right there. Okay, let's talk about the holidays. If you don't know, if you're not listening to this live, it's not live. If you're not listening to this on the day that it airs, I shall tell you it is December 24th, so a lot of people are celebrating Christmas Eve. So, related observances to Christmas Eve are as follows. I shall tell you. In Iceland, it is, Athendagþofold, something like that. It is the day when the 13th and last Yule lad arrives to towns. And you may not know about these Yule lads. you should go listen to my wife's podcast. I will put the episode number in the show notes because I don't know it off the top of my head, although I could probably figure it out fairly quickly. They did a whole episode. Their show is called Horse Talk Horror, my wife's show with her friend, and they did a whole episode on, I think, different ways that Christmas is celebrated. Let's see, Christmas, true crimes, and more. I think this was the episode. Let's see. Is Iceland listed in this one? Not sure. Maybe it was this one, episode 75. That's probably where it is. Anyway, the Yule Lads. There's 13 different Yule Lads, and they come to towns, and they're kind of like the Disney Seven Dwarfs, but they all have their funny names, but they're not at all like the Seven Dwarfs. Anyway, it's fascinating, and I don't know how to pronounce this day. Also, more Christmas Eve stuff. Italian Americans are celebrating Feast of the Seven Fishes. In, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, they have Julafton or Julafton. In certain Orthodox Jewish denominations, they have Nittelnacht, which is interesting because typically Jews don't celebrate Christmas or anything like that, but they've got something for this. In Spain and Spanish-speaking countries, it is Noche Buena. Does that mean good night? Good night. Go to sleep. Let's see. Old Great Square of Turku is Finland's official Christmas city. It is the declaration of Christmas peace. In Poland, it is Vigilia. In Alaska, Canada, Greenland, and Russia, it is the Inuit New Year, which is maybe pronounced Koviasukvik, something like that. In Libya, it is Independence Day. In Russia, it is Day of Military Honor, Siege of Ishmael. Let's check this page. That one just has Christmas Eve. And let's check the fun holiday page. Last minute shoppers day. Yes, this is the day that all the people who haven't done any of their Christmas shopping go do that. It's National Eggnog Day. I already started drinking eggnog in the middle of November, but of course it's vegan eggnog. Love that unhealthy stuff. Anything else? I think we said that. National Consumer Rights Day. All right, that is the end of the episode. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing wonderful information to you. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. These headphones sound way too loud, and I don't remember turning them up. Maybe... I don't know why. Okay. Hello. Welcome to this episode. This podcast is called The Dictionary, and this episode happens to fall on Christmas 2021. That's when it is coming out. So I hope that you are listening to this on that day. Let's just talk about the words. Let's just focus on that. First form of the word consequent. Consequent. What should the sound effect be for today? If I had some jingle bells, I would jingle some jingle bells because it's Christmas. But that's only when this airs, and there's no reason. This is all just timeless. So we can just pick up, but it would be fun to do something Christmassy, right? What is the sound a reindeer makes? Sure, why not? Okay, consequent, noun from the 14th century, 1A. It is the 2B definition for the word deduction. Consequent. 1B, the conclusion of a conditional sentence. And that was that. Number 2, the second term of a ratio. The second term of a ratio. So if you say, like, my TV is 16 by 9, is the 9 called the consequent? Do these things have names? I never knew these names. This is from the Latin verb consequi, which means to follow along. See, same with that one. With the in the ratio, the second number, it follows the first. The end, the conclusion of a sentence follows. It's the end of it. So that's where all this comes from. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Reindeer sound. Okay. Second, it sounds more like a pig, I know, but what are you gonna do? That's just the sound that came out. Okay, number 2, the synonym is it's the second form of consequent adjective from the 15th century. 1, following as a result or effect, as in her new job and consequent relocation. Consequent, it's in the sequence. It's in the order of things. That's how they are ordered. Yeah. Number 2, observing logical sequence. Synonym is rational. I hope you enjoy the little extra that I give when describing something. I partly do it for myself to sort of make it more clear in my mind, but I hope it helps you as well, because sometimes these definitions are a little weird and vague. You just need to put it into other words. That's what I do. That's what I'm here for. Okay, next word, consequential. Well, see, now I'm making it more pig-like. Let's not do that. Consequential, adjective from 1626. 1, of the nature of a secondary result. Synonym is indirect. Number 2, the synonym is just consequent. 3, having significant consequences. Synonym is important, as in a grave and consequential event. It sounds very serious. 4, the synonym is self-important, which is 2 words with a hyphen. The consequentiality, I think that's what that word is. That is a noun. Consequentially is an adverb, and consequentialness is a noun. Man, this word is long. And here's another one. Maybe I should just make it more extreme every time. This next word is consequentialism. Consequentialism. Noun from 1982. The theory that the value and especially the moral value of an act should be judged by the value of its consequences. Ooh, that's an interesting idea. Yes, an act should be based on the consequential thing that came the consequentiality of the thing. What am I trying to say? Interesting. Of its consequences, the value of its consequences. Okay. Consequentialist. That is a noun or an adjective, probably someone who follows this theory. I wonder, what's an example of that? What would be an example of that? The moral value of an act should be judged by... I have to think about that later. Okay, next word. I'm a reindeer eating carrots. I'm getting into character. Okay, so this next word is consequently. It is an adverb from the 15th century. As a result, in view of the foregoing, and the synonym is accordingly. Consequently, my dear, I feel like I have to speak like that when I say that word. Okay, next word. I mean, I should go get some carrots, then I'll have a prop. Okay, next word, conservancy. Noun from 1667. Number 1 is British. It is a board regulating fisheries and navigation in a river or port. 2a, the synonym is conservation. 2b, an organization of area designated to conserve and protect natural resources. Conservancy. Let's see. I'm looking at the etymology trying to see if there's anything interesting, and there's not. So let's just go back. Let's talk about it a little bit. So an organization or area designated to conserve and protect natural resources. I very much like this. This is just my 2 cents. And, I think we need more people to work on this. And I don't know. I'm not actually doing anything, but I'm talking about it. So I guess that's something. But no, this is a big thing because, saving animals, saving wildlife, saving the plants and the trees and all the things that are going away and have been going extinct for all these years. This is what we need to be doing. And I think the more that we do this, the better we will be to stop climate change. So let's do this. I just happened... This is a coincidence, happened to start donating to this group called the Nature Conservancy. It was one of those situations where somebody stopped me on the street and asked if I wanted to donate. We talked about, Earth and stuff, and, like one does. And I decided to donate, and so I'm just doing a small, regular, monthly donation because I looked them up afterwards. I really didn't know much about them. Sorry, this is the time where I talk about my life a little bit, but it's things that I think are important to talk about. So I didn't really know much about them, and I looked them up, and they seem like they're a really good company. Now if anybody wants to tell me why they're great or tell me why they're not great, you can do that. But it seems like they're a really good ethical company, and I know that we don't see that a lot these days. So I'm glad that they are good and that I'm helping a little bit in some way, I hope. So I urge other people to do stuff like this if you can, because otherwise the planet's just getting worse and worse and worse. Thank you for letting me have a platform where I can vent my thoughts to you. Okay, should we talk about the next word? Reindeer time. Conservation. This just is an add-on to what I was talking about before. We don't have to talk about it much. It is a noun from the 14th century. 1. A careful preservation and protection of something, especially planned management of a natural resource to prevent exploitation, destruction, or neglect. There's a lot there. Number 2, the preservation of a physical quantity during transformations or reactions. Let's conserve. Conservational is an adjective. Let's see, conservatism. We're going to get to that at the end of this episode, and that is an interesting word because I think there can be so many positive or negative connotations. I'm just thinking of a couple of things. But, there's a lot going on with that word. There can be a lot going on with that word. Okay, so we finished conservation. Next word is conservationist, noun from 1870, a person who advocates conservation, especially of natural resources. I guess you could call me a conservationist. Yeah. So the next word, what happened there with that reindeer? They must have gotten a shock of something. Okay, it is conservation of charge. My brain was skipping ahead because the next one is energy. Conservation of charge, 3 words from 1949. A principle in physics. The total electric charge of an isolated system remains constant, irrespective of whatever internal changes may take place. Oh, so I think I misread this colon. I thought it was one of the colons that says, this is a new part of the definition. But it's actually the colon saying, this is the principle in physics. Now we shall read it. So I read it all weird in my head. Let's try it again. Pause. The total electric charge of an isolated system remains constant irrespective of whatever internal changes may take place. Well, rereading it in that headspace didn't help anyway, but I'm sure if I really thought about it, I could figure it out. The charge is being conserved. Next is conservation of energy from 1853, a principle in physics. The total energy of an isolated system remains constant irrespective of whatever internal changes may take place, with energy disappearing in one form, reappearing in another. Okay, again, very similar. It's energy instead of charge. How is that different? I'm not sure. Here's another one. Conservation of mass from 1884. Wonder what you can figure out if you look at the years. Conservation of energy was 1853. Mass was 1884. Charge was 1949. Interesting. I don't know if it's all that interesting. Maybe I need somebody to describe this to me in a better way. This mass one, is a principle in classical physics, which says, the total mass of any isolated material system is neither increased nor diminished by reactions between the parts, called also conservation of matter. Matter and mass are very similar, depending on the context. I'm not sure. I never took physics, and I think that is why I am struggling with this to understand these. It was the one, I don't know if I said this on the show. It doesn't matter. I think I would have been actually pretty interested, and at the time, I didn't know what it was really, so I wasn't interested. I only took chemistry and biology. It was the one that I didn't take, so I think I could have. Maybe I'll take a physics class when I'm older. Okay, we have one more word in this episode. It is conservatism. Conservatism. Noun from 1832. Number 1 is capitalized. Yeah, we have a number of definitions here. Less than I thought. Okay, 1 is capitalized. 1A, the principles and policies of a conservative party. Conservative party, they have principles and policies. And whatever those are for that party, they are conservatism. 1B, the Conservative Party, is also just called conservatism, I guess. 2A, disposition in politics to preserve what is established. Oh, what a good way to describe that. It's the idea in politics that you are preserving what is established. What is already there is you want to preserve it. Here's the thing about that. Chaos, entropy, change, you can't get away from that. That's just here all the time. You cannot preserve it. That is a very, what is it? It's a very certain point of view that you want to just keep everything the same. And listen, as much as I want things to stay the same, they're just not gonna. So you can't. You need to change. You have to change. Okay, we're going to stop with that, and we're going to move on to 2B. There's a lot here. Okay, 2B. A political philosophy based on tradition and social stability, stressing established institutions and preferring gradual development to abrupt change. But specifically, such a philosophy calling for lower taxes. Oh, see, we're getting real specific. Such a philosophy calling for lower taxes, limited government, regulations of business and investing, a strong national defense, and individual financial responsibility for personal needs. And examples would be as retirement income or healthcare coverage. What was this last one? A strong national defense and individual financial responsibility for personal needs. You have to cover it yourself. Man, I'm sorry, but there's a good chunk of this that I'm just not a fan of. And I am not the most smarty pants in the political world, but I know a little bit, and I just feel like we could do better if we don't do those things. Why am I talking about this so much? You're just here to hear me read the dictionary. You don't want my personal thoughts. So let's finish it up with number 3, the tendency to prefer an existing or traditional situation to change. The tendency to prefer an existing or traditional situation to change. You prefer the existing, the tradition, the traditional, and you don't prefer change. That is what it is saying. Sorry, change is going to happen. It is the reality of the universe. Okay, so the words in this episode were consequentialism, consequently, conservancy, conservation, conservationist, conservation of change, conservation of energy, conservation of mass, conservatism. And I just realized I contradicted myself in a way. Earlier in the episode, I was talking about how I think it's good to conserve the world, the planet, whatever it is. And then later, I talk about how you can't avoid change. And how do I reckon that in my head? I don't know. I think there's a difference between conserving nature and animals and plants and things that keep nature in balance, which is going to evolve and change anyway, but it's the balance part. Because right now, to get in balance, the world is really, really messed up. Really, really messed up. And it doesn't need to be that way. It's causing a lot of problems. So conserve some things, and, you can't be conservative with a lot of other things, I think. I don't know. What are we talking about anyway? All right. I don't want to say on that note, because that is a silly, silly phrase that I think I overuse. So let's talk about the holidays. Not that page, this page. Okay. No, it's not Christmas Eve. Didn't we update this to the 25th? I don't think we did. Okay, Christmas. Everything is just Christmas and done. No, in India, it is Tulsi Pujan Divas. Taiwan, Constitution Day. It does say Christmas Day, of course, a Christian festival commemorating the birth of Jesus. Wasn't Jesus born in a different time of the year? So what's that going on with? Also in India, Good Governance Day. In the Nak peoples of Chechnya and Ingushetia have the Malk Festival, and I know I pronounced those wrong. In Pakistan, it is Quaid-e-Azam's Day. Again, you feel free to correct me, or don't. In the Chumbivilcas province in Peru, Chumbivilcas, that's a fun word. It is Takanakui. I really do hope that I'm not butchering these pronunciations drastically. I mean, I'm trying. Okay, any fun holidays? National Pumpkin Pie Day. Wait a minute, wasn't it National Pumpkin Pie Day like in mid-November? I only know that because I'm in mid-November right now, and I think yesterday it was Pumpkin Pie Day. So, hey, there's nothing wrong with more Pumpkin Pie Days. It is also No L Day, the letter L, also known as alphabet instead of alphabet, because it's no L, there's no L, no L. Oh, Noel. Okay. What else have we got? I think that's it. I mean, it says Jesus' birthday. No, it's not. It's just not. Supposedly, if he existed. I don't know. All right, we're going to end the episode there. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye.